You know, I think part of my reflection looking back on this is I kind of think in 2016 in the aftermath, I gave too much deference to a lot of folks in the media who were basically saying, okay, there's no way that this guy could have gotten elected except for misinformation. People can't actually believe this stuff, right? It has to be that there's this kind of like massive misinformation out there. Some of it started with the Russia collusion stuff, but it kind of morphed into different things over time.
Well, he was so ideologically polarizing, right? Like people didn't want to believe that anybody looked at him and said, this should be our president.
Yeah, so I took this and just kind of assumed that everyone was acting in good faith. And I said, okay, well, there are concerns about misinformation. We should, just like when people raised other concerns in the past and we try to deal with them. Okay, yeah.
Hey, bro, what's happening? Good to see you.
You too?
What's going on?
You know, chill week.
60,000 views in the first 15 minutes, and Joe asks the big question about censorship. This was going to be earth-shattering.
Hey, bro, what's happening? Good to see you.
You too?
What's going on?
Okay, yeah, people, no, you know, if you ask people, no one says that they want misinformation, so maybe there's something that we should do to basically try to address this. But I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world, right? That's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service. And so we tried to put in place a system that would deal with it. And early on tried to basically make it so that it was really limited. We're like, all right, we're just going to have this system where there's third-party fact checkers and they can check the worst of the worst stuff, right? So things that are very clear hoaxes, that there's like, it's not like we're not parsing speech about whether something is slightly true or slightly false, like Earth is flat, things like that, right? So that was sort of the original intent. We put in place the system and it just sort of veered from there. I think to some degree, it's because some of the people whose job is to do fact-checking, a lot of their industry is focused on political fact-checking, so they just kind of veered in that direction. We kept on trying to basically get it to be what we had originally intended, which is just, it's not, the point isn't to like judge people's opinions, it's to provide, this layer to kind of help fact-check some of the stuff that seems the most extreme, but it just, it was just never accepted by people broadly. I think people just felt like the fact checkers were too biased. Not necessarily even so much in what they ruled, although sometimes I think people would disagree with that. A lot of the time, it was just what types of things they chose to even go and fact check in the first place. So, I kind of think like after having gone through that whole exercise, it I don't know, it's something out of like 1984, one of these books where it's just like it really is a slippery slope, and it just got to a point where it's just okay, this is destroying so much trust, especially in the United States, to have this program. And I guess it was probably about a few years that I really started coming to the conclusion that we were going to need to change something about that. COVID was the other big one, where that was also very tricky because in the beginning, it was, it's like a legitimate public health crisis, in the beginning. And it's, even people who are like the most ardent First Amendment, defenders, the Supreme Court has this clear precedent. It's like, all right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times when if there's an emergency, your ability to speak can temporarily be curtailed in order to get an emergency under control. So I was sympathetic to that at the beginning of COVID. It seemed like, okay, you have this virus. It seems like it's killing a lot of people. I don't know, we didn't know at the time how dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from, 2 weeks to flatten the curve to and like in the beginning it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks aren't that important, to then it's like, oh no, you have to wear a mask, and all the like everything was shifting around. It just becomes very difficult to kind of follow. And this really hit the most extreme, I'd say, during the Biden administration when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And now, I'm generally like pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance, the vaccines are more positive than negative. But I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor any basically argument against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, you know, anything that says that
the right heroes could make all the difference.
You basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that
it was
that talk about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was you know, I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly? Fitness isn't just about what you do in the gym, it's also about your nutrition, but even with the best diet, some nutrients can be hard to get, and AG1 can help fill those gaps. AG1 delivers optimal amounts of nutrients in forms that help your body perform. AG1 makes foundational nutrition easy because there aren't a million different pills and capsules you have to keep track of. It's just one scoop mixed in water. It's such an easy routine to keep in the mornings. Ingredients in AG1 are selected for absorption, nutrient density, and potency, and are intentionally picked to work in sync with the whole formula for optimal impact.
There's a solution for every problem if you just look
AG1 is
hard
tested
enough.
for hundreds of contaminants and impurities, and they're constantly reformulating their recipe to dial it in. This is all part of why I partnered with AG1 for years. To get started with AG1 this holiday season and
in
get
a situation as unpredictable as this,
K2,
it's
and
important to remain
AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan. That's a $76 value gift for free if you go to drinkag1.com/Joe Rogan. Seriously, get on this. That's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company, but there's clearly you're moderating at scale that's beyond the imagination. The number of human beings you're moderating. Facebook. What the, how many people? Feeling fantastic.
3.2 billion. Yeah. No, it's wild.
More than a third of the planet. Yes. So crazy. Almost half of Earth.
It's probably half.
I'm more resilient than you
just,
think.
I want to say that though, there's a lot of like hypercritical people that are conspiracy theorists and think that everybody's a part of some cabal to control them. I want you to understand that whether it's YouTube or all these, whatever place that you think is doing something that's awful, it's good to speak out because this is how things get changed. This is how things find out what people are talking about.
Let me return the favor.
To try to get a human,
they can't be allowed to cease computering. That was unusually satisfying.
It's virtually impossible.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
You have mass reporting because you have bad corporations.
Armed and dead! Your powers are mine! Fantastic!
Understand the power. You have the pandemic, and then you have administration where it's really what they're saying.
Finally bouncing back.
Trying to take down vaccines.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, this is
Assemble!
that I could spend every minute of all of my time doing this. But in general, we have a policy of people like trust where people are kind of working on a daily basis. The interaction a lot of this, as always, Jim Jordan, the House investigation.
This should limit any damage.
Stuff. He introduced all these
Sorry about that. You deserve far better than that. I'm sorry. Not so fast, friend.
And of course, I don't it's all kind of out there. And they're like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They want us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio in TV talking about 10 years from now or something. You're gonna see an ad that says,
This should limit any damage.
Bring on the together to victory! Class action lawsuit type shit.
Fantastic!
Take down human fire. We're not going to take down things that are true. I guess,
Need assistance.
I flipped a bit. Biden gave some
Futile attempt.
and
Your failure was inevitable.
all these different agencies, government, just started investigating and coming out with
I have many faces.
That's the boat.
It's just a massive
I won't
oversight.
rest until this is
Yeah,
solved.
And
I think
also,
it'll-
you weren't killing people. This is the thing about all this.
Let's hope
It's
they're
like
still using
they
Tony's name for
suppressed
good after
so
all
much
these years.
information about things that people should be doing, regardless of whether or not you believe in the vaccine. Regardless, put that aside.
Better stop that vehicle!
The obvious. Whether there's a pandemic or and there is help you recover from illness, prevents illness.
Sure, those are bad.
No hard feelings.
And that's just you can't say information that helps you recover from all
Feeling fantastic.
high doses of vitamin C, D3 with K2 magnesium.
Usually I create my own shield.
They
Get
didn't
in
want
there.
people to think that you could get away with not taking medicine, which is
Armed and dangerous. Let me return the favor.
But
Fantastic!
You get away!
it's like it shows you how things can go that way. All of these bizarre
Double kill!
through
There's
your
still more
platform,
work to be done.
X. This is how people are getting information. They're getting information from
He's
YouTube,
stopping
getting
in their
information
tracks.
from a bunch of different sources now. And you can't censor that if it's real legitimate information because it's not ideologically convenient for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's basically the journey that I've been on. Right? It started off very free speech, free expression. And then
Behind you.
years,
Your powers are mine! Assemble!
Only 60 seconds left.
got one. The experience that a lot of
We're done here!
Double kill!
accurate.
I'm not ready to give up
and even if
yet.
the facts are right, it's kind of written from a slant a lot of the time.
Of course.
And then there was the government version of it, which was during COVID, which is okay. Like, it's like our government is telling us that we need to censor true things. It's like, this is a disaster. And it's, it's not just the U.S.
Down to
right?
30 seconds!
A lot of people in the U.S. serve me well. Focus on this.
Take it up now.
Probably caused a breakdown in trust.
Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me.
2024 was a big election year.
Final 10 seconds!
I won't rest
There were
until
all
this
these
is
countries
solved.
in India.
They've made it
There's just
halfway!
like a ton of
Stop
countries
them!
that had elections, and the incumbents basically lost every single one.
You'll have have to keep fighting
there is
until
some
we have
sort
a
of
winner.
global phenomenon where whether it was because of
You
inflation,
got
because
them
of
all!
the economic policies to deal with COVID, or just how the
Another epic victory! Big win!
seems to have had this effect that's global, not just the U.S., but like a very broad decrease in trust, at least in that set of incumbents, and maybe in sort of these democratic institutions. So I think that what you're saying of, yeah, how do people get their information now? It's by sharing it online on social media. I think that that's just increasingly true. And my view at this point is like, all right, like we started off focused on free expression. We kind of had this pressure tested over the last period. I feel like I just have a much greater command now of what I think the policy should be, and so I mean, at this point, I think a lot of people look at this as like a purely political thing. You know, it's because they kind of look at the timing and they're like, hey, well, you're doing this right after the election. It's like, okay, I try not to change our content rules like right in the middle of an election either, right? It's like there's not like a great time to do this. It's,
Right.
you know,
You want to do it a year later.
yeah, it's like there's no good time to do it.
The right
You know,
heroes can make
whatever
all the
time
difference.
is going on, there's going to be, you know, so the good thing about doing it after the election is you get to take this kind of cultural pulse as like, okay, where are people right now and how are people thinking about it? We try to have policies that reflect, mainstream discourse.
I've seen wonders
but-
out there in the cosmos
Yeah, I
few
mean,
humans will
I don't know,
ever
this is something I've been
behold.
thinking about for a while. I think that this is going to be pretty durable because at this point we've just been pressure tested on this stuff for like the last 8 to 10 years with like these huge institutions pressure tests, and I feel like this is kind of the right place to be going forward.
What was it like when they were attacking you? Like, first of all, what was
Winning isn't always about hitting
We'll
harder.
be coming in 30 seconds.
Sometimes
Stay
it's
strong.
information that was not true that was getting out
I'd
there?
like to run a
I know
few
there was
tests
also
on you when this is all
saying
over,
that
James.
You guys were allowing hate groups to speak. There's a lot of this.
Yeah,
I'll pass.
I mean,
Are you sure?
the tough
What if
thing with
Hydra
politics
implanted something
is
inside
that
of you?
there's like,
the first time.
well, when you say someone's coming after you, you're referring to country government and
Yeah.
The
investigations.
battle
Well,
starts in
the
5,
issue is that there's
4, 3, 2,
there's
1.
what specific
You
thing an
need to
agency
stop that
might be
vehicle in its tracks.
Good work,
and then there's like underlying political motivation.
Feeling fantastic. I suppose this version of you does have its benefits, Bruce.
Stop them in their tracks.
That was before. And it's basically we're not really it's like what does meta have to do with this? But they have theory and they want to lead us in. It's like really find some theory like throughout the
Let me help. Way to go. That vehicle isn't going anywhere.
I don't know how to say it. I've never been in government. I don't know if it's like a directive
There's still
or it's
more
just
work
like
to
a
be done.
quiet consensus that like we don't like these guys, they're not doing what we want, we're going to punish them. But it's it's tough to be at the other end. What was it? Well, it's not
Better
good.
stop that vehicle.
The thing that I think is actually the toughest though is it's global,
Clearly you
right?
needed
So,
some help.
And really when you think about it, the U.S. government should be
That's one down.
right, not be the tip of the spear. So we talk about a lot. What is experience?
Double KO.
Learn from your failure.
And the real
That's 3.
Fantastic!
it's basically
Stop them in their tracks.
find
That's
the
amazing.
tech companies over $30 billion over the last
Show us
when
over.
you think about it,
I'm not
okay,
ready to
there's-
give up yet.
It's like, $100 million here, a couple $1 billion there. But what it, I think really adds up to is this is sort of like a kind of EU-wide policy for how we want to deal with America.
Shields out.
It's almost like a tariff. And I think the U.S. government basically gets to decide how are they going to deal with it, right? Because if the U.S. government, if some other
You really could have used the mind of a
Shield activated!
go to town on these companies and do what they want. But I mean, look, obviously, like I don't want to come across as if like we don't have things that we need to do better. Obviously, we do. And when we mess something up, we deserve to be held accountable for that, and just like everyone else.
Shield activated.
Fantastic! I am ready to put on a show.
Back!
And I think it should be part of the U.S.'s strategy going forward to defend that. And one of the things that I'm optimistic about with President Trump is I think he just wants America to win. And I think some of the stuff, like the other governments who are touching on this stuff.
I'm more resilient than you think.
Like at least the U.S. has the rule of law, right? So the government can come after you for something, but you still get your day in court, and the courts are pretty fair. And so we've basically done a pretty good job of defending ourselves. And when we
Good work, Susan.
we have a pretty good rate of like that.
Let me return the favor.
Governments decide they're gonna go after you. You don't always get a clear shape.
Only 60 seconds left.
Defending yourself on the rules. So I think to some
That
degree,
did the trick.
if the U.S.
There's still more work
They
to do.
hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them. Better stop that vehicle.
I do think that the U.S. government has a role in basically defending it abroad, and that's one of the things that I'm optimistic about will happen in this administration.
Well, I think this administration uniquely has felt the impact of not being able to have because this was the administration where Trump was famous at the time as sitting president. Kind of crazy. Remove that person from social media because you decided that we decided to run. So for him, without free speech,
I fought this hard. You failed.
the majority of television entities and print entities, the majority. So without social media, without podcast, they don't exist. So they're uniquely aware of the importance
I'm more
of
resilient
giving
than you
people their voice.
think.
Free speech.
Usually I
You do
create
have
my
to be
own
careful
shield.
about misinformation, and you do have to be careful about just outright lies and propaganda complaints, or propaganda campaigns rather. And how do you differentiate?
Well, I think that there are a couple of different things here. One is, this is something where I think X and Twitter just did it better than us on fact-checking. We took the critique around fact-checking.
Better stop that vehicle.
Howard used third-party fact-checkers to confirm false, and then we did downright. I think what
This should come in handy.
people usually disagree on something.
That almost hurt.
And how they're voting on a video, that's a good sign for the community. On this, and you're showing more information on this. Right? You're not using the fact check as a signal to show less. You're using it to provide real context and show additional information. So I think that's
That did now.
when you're talking
There's
about
still
like,
more
nation
work to be done.
states, where people are
About time I got a shield.
a lot of that stuff is best rooted out at the level of
Shields up!
kind of accounts doing phony things. So you get like, whether it's in China or Russia or Iran or like one of these countries. To convince people.
Only
wow,
60
most people
seconds
must
left.
think this.
Better stop that
That
I'm more
basically
resilient.
They hit a
those
checkpoint.
accounts are not
Now
giving you
might be a good time to stop them.
when we find that there's like some bot
Mantis
that's
is now
operating
available.
an account,
How do you differentiate? How do you figure that out?
it just, I mean, there are some things that a person just would never do, right?
Better
So,
stop that
Have you
vehicle.
met Lex Friedman?
yeah.
He might not be.
Well, he's got a pretty sophisticated.
Fantastic!
basically
It's now or
corrupted
never.
their
Stop
techniques.
them.
But we have a team of it's effectively like
Better stop that
intelligence, counterintelligence folks, counterterrorism folks, AI folks who are building systems to identify what are these accounts.
All right, Ty.
Leave them to conscience.
That was simple.
Don't give them another inch. Or else.
Not so fast, friend. What a relief.
You need to be
Or is it just people that are trying to populate any mountain?
It's that. I think
stop them in their tracks.
What percentage of
I'm more
accuracy
resilient
are
than you
determining?
think.
Do you ever accidentally think that people that are going to get moderated are actually just real people?
Only 60 seconds left.
I think for the specific problem around these like large elections, it's a large enough group. We have like a bunch of people analyzing it.
Ceiling fantastic.
Stop them in their tracks.
That almost hurt.
You're talking about. That is actually a small difference
Fantastic!
in terms of how
Down to 30 seconds.
sorry about that. To have to require confidence and precision is actually going to have
Double KO.
right. The moving back, like
That's
forward,
3.
like very small percentage of
Final 10
confidence
seconds.
in the first place. So is that going to make a huge difference?
Fantastic!
Stop them in their
Step
tracks.
though.
I'm more resilient than you
Some
think.
stuff that was restricted before.
Another
Okay,
epic
that's good.
victory. Big win.
Censored before or not. But by far the biggest set of issues we have, and you and I have talked about a bunch of issues like this over the years, is like, it's just, okay, you have some classifier it's trying to find, say, like drug content, right? People decide, okay, it's like, the opioid epidemic is a big deal. We need to do a better job of cracking down on drugs and drug sales, right? I don't want people dealing drugs. So we build a bunch of systems that basically go out and try to automate finding people who are dealing drugs. And then you basically have this question, which is how precise do you want to set the classifier? So do you want to make it so that the system needs to be 99% sure that someone is dealing
You'll need
drugs
a
before taking
top-notch
them down?
team to win this one.
Do you want it to be 90% confident, 80% confident? And then those correspond to amounts of, I guess the statistics term would be recall. What percent of the bad stuff are you finding? So if you require 99%
I've seen wonders
confidence,
out there in the
then
cosmos few
maybe
humans
you
will
only
ever behold.
actually end up taking down 20% of the bad content. Whereas if you reduce it, you say, okay, we're only going to require 90% confidence. Now maybe you can take down 60%. So let's say you say, no, we really need to find everyone who's doing this stuff. It doesn't need to be as severe as doing drugs. It could just be
There's a solution for every problem.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
You start getting to some of these classifiers might have
Reed,
80, 85%
you do
precision
have a plan to
in
stop
order to
Victor,
get 90%
don't you,
of that
darling?
stuff down.
Shielded
The
from
problem is if
harm.
you're at 90% precision, that means 1 out of 10 things that the classifier takes down is not actually problematic. And if you filter, if you kind of multiply that across the billions
battle
of people
starts
who
in
use our
5,
services every day,
4,
that is
3, 2,
millions and millions
1.
of posts that are basically
All you need to
being
do is
taken
capture the
down
mission area.
that
Got it?
are innocent and ridiculous down, which I mean, have you had that experience?
Trouble has arrived.
That over time, and I really think that's very good set of classes. So one of the things we're doing is basically
Now,
require more, which is this going to mean that we will maybe take down a smaller amount of the harmful content, but it will also mean that we'll dramatically reduce the amount of people whose accounts we're taking off the stick, which is just a terrible experience. Right? Go to
well?
Yeah, because I mean, there are a
So
bunch
if your
of
We've got
Facebook
trouble.
app gets taken out, like say if you have a Facebook and you have like a sock puppet account, and the sock
Yeah.
puppet account you post offensive memes and you're generally gross.
yeah,
If you get caught for that, does your WhatsApp get killed?
not for memes, but go back to like a very
What a relief!
like let's say someone is
Let's say the most severe.
terrorist content planning is right. So we take that.
I need some
Right.
friends.
But then
Gather
let's say
around.
sign up with another account. Where I think like oh well, if it's
Anyone willing to help?
services, basically, one thing
Help
that
get that vehicle to its destination.
companies can say, okay, it's you're clearly not doing enough. Watch out! Okay, they also think, okay, well, we're not doing enough. If we deactivate Facebook, they're like
Never fear.
I'll do my best to carry on.
think that someone is you probably have their access to all the different accounts.
I won't rest until this is solved.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
So you can understand how you get there, but then you just get to this question around the precision and the confidence level, and then you're just
I'm
making
wounded.
all these
I am
mistakes
Asgard's
and scales,
might.
Dark soul
and
can
it's
be
just
used against him.
unacceptable. But I think it's a very hard calculation of like where do you want to be, because on the one hand,
You're
like,
halfway there.
I get
Keep going.
sorry about that. No, you need to do a better job of finding more of the terrorism or the drugs, all this stuff. But
Behold the god of thunder!
Sort of advanced assault cannon.
Or you want to get some higher percentage of the bad stuff off. I think there's some balance to strike on
That can get weird. Or was it Theo?
There's still
Might have
more
been
work
Theo.
to be done.
Get that vehicle moving
Where
again.
that can get weird because I think like if you're a person and you work for an accounting firm, like you like posting about stuff, but you don't want it to come back.
After all these years, you
Judge!
still find ways to
Jury!
impress me.
Executioner!
silly.
Darkness cannot be undone. I am ready to put on a show.
Fantastic.
Just because you state your opinion, people should be able to before you sleep. That doesn't make any sense to me. But
I'm
if
doing
you're
this
gonna allow
my way!
anonymous accounts, you're definitely gonna open up
so
the door to
fast,
bad
friend.
actors having enormous blocks of accounts where they can use their AI.
Let me return the favor.
Programs that have like specific answers. I'm sure you've seen that before. It's come up on
Let me help.
I am barely wounded.
hundreds of
Our
times.
enemies are here.
I'm not ready to give up yet.
Literally word for word, even certain words in caps. Like either keep people are copy and pasting it, or email getting legit people to do it, or
Advanced assault cannon.
Too many
because I
enemies.
think whistleblower is a benefit.
Double KO.
Especially
I'm more
whistleblowers.
resilient than you
No
know.
sign of it.
A futile attempt.
Shields up.
But you're all, if you're going to do that, you're
Friends,
also
gather around.
he's on the other
A shield.
I
Perfect.
have a shield, but you never fail to impress me, Reed. Double KO. Look behind you. Helpful.
I mean, so with the anonymous accounts, also just over time, I think a lot of the kind of more interesting conversations have shifted from the public sphere to more private ones. So, WhatsApp groups,
Hostile ahead.
private groups on Facebook. I'm sure you have this
I am
experience where, like,
wounded.
maybe 10 years ago you posted your kind of quick take on whatever social media platform. Now, you know, the stuff that I post on Facebook and Instagram, I put time into making sure that that's that I'm broadly. But then, like, of course, the jokes that I make,
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
right in groups.
Disappear.
That's kind of where the struggle is more about.
Never forgive myself for this, Susan.
just say it's one of the things that about thinking about this particular
Fantastic!
Turn around.
let's just say
I'm not ready to give up yet.
Vehicle reached a
country that's
checkpoint.
involved
Keep up
in
the
some sort of
momentum.
international conflict, and you have this ability to get out this fake narrative and just spread it widely about all sorts of things you're accusing this other government of, all sorts of things that aren't true.
Yeah.
And it just muddies the water.
I require some aid.
Yeah, and that's why that side of things, the government's running these broad manipulation.
Focus on the battle.
And we're not letting
As strong as Ben.
everyone like
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
drugs, ID violations, or people inciting violence.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
They couldn't weather that.
Double kill.
Zillion
You know,
things
election interference and foreign government
That's
manipulation
it.
of
Don't
content.
let anything stand in your way.
This is the type
Let
of
me
stuff that
return
vast
the
majority
favor.
of our energy goes towards that, and we're not changing our approach on any of that. The two categories that I think have been very
Better make this count. Our adversaries got the space scoop to the basement.
I got your back.
You may just not like my opinion on something, and then people think it's false, but it's but I think that one's really true. And the other one is basically what people
Judge! Jury!
comes from a
Executioner!
place of wanting to crack down on this,
Shields up. Chin up.
feeling fantastic.
Oh, friends. Don't have to. Double kill.
and that's how I just basically got to this point where
Another
there were these
epic
things
victory. Big win.
right? So, it's like Pete Hegseth is going to probably be defending his nomination for Secretary of Defense on the Senate floor, and I think one of the points that he's made is that he thinks that women shouldn't be able to be in certain combat roles, and until we updated our policies, that wouldn't have been a thing that you could have said on our platforms because it would call for the exclusion of people. And it's like, okay, like on its face, yeah, calling for the exclusion of a protected category, that seems that like that's okay, there's like legal protections, there's all this stuff, but okay, if it's like okay to say on the floor of Congress, you should probably
You'll need
be
a
able to
top-notch
debate it on
team to
social
win
media.
this one.
Yeah.
So I think some of the stuff, I think well-intentioned, went too far, needs to just get rationalized a bit. But it's those two categories, misinformation and hate speech, I think are the ones that got politicized. All the other ones, which is the vast majority of the stuff that we do, is I think people generally agree that it's good and we need to go after it.
I've seen wonders out there in the cosmos few humans will ever behold.
In our enforcement, and at what point would people rather us kind of say, okay, I'm not sure that one is causing an issue.
When
so
scientific
on balance,
resolutions
maybe
30
we should
seconds before you
use
attack.
that person's
Get
account out
ready.
because the pain
Do come in
of just nuking
handy.
someone's account when you're not sure
Hey,
or you make a
what am I
mistake,
thinking?
that's pretty real
That you
too.
need a bigger gun?
Bingo!
Yeah.
Where do I find
very,
one?
very complicated.
Yeah.
It's all very nuanced. And you made a point earlier about the government supporting its companies. That it would be a good thing for the government to support
Battle
its
starts in
companies.
5,
Makes sense. It's an
4,
American company.
3.
I think
2,
the issue that we're dealing
1.
with is companies.
All you need
as
to
we're
do is
describing
capture the
them,
mission
have never
area.
existed.
Got it?
Right? There's never been. a
Victor's
thing.
meddling in the time
There's
stream never
been a
ends
thing
well
like
for
that.
anyone,
It's
especially
never
him.
been a thing. I think these are new. In terms of the impact that it has on society, opinions, conversations, on distribution of information. There's never been a thing like this that the government controls. So it makes sense from their perspective, continuing the
I'm afraid your rule has come to an end, T'Challa.
There's been CIA operatives that have been in major newspapers forever. There's always been that. There's always been this sort of influence that the government had in mainstream media narratives. They are in a position now where they're losing it. And especially with this last one. To put deteriorating for the opinion and the perspective that have for the facts that are coming from mainstream journalism. So, well, what do they trust? They trust social media. Who's running that? Like, we're gonna crack down. Like, we've got to get our hands on this, which is what we saw during COVID, which we saw during the Biden administration's attempt to remove $105
That was unusual.
all these different
I'm
things
not
that we
ready to
saw
give up
happen, the way
yet.
they contacted you guys, what they're trying to do with getting you to remove real information about vaccine side effects, like that. This is like this new
pulse!
attempt to crack down on this new thing, which is a distribution outlet that's far more successful than anything
with
we've
it.
had.
Keep going.
And they have no control over it, right? They had CBS, they had NBC, they had, when they had the New York Times and all this Washington Post,
I'm
when they were in
impervious
control
to
of narrative
damage.
in that way, it was so much easier.
Trouble has arrived.
Some sort of pirate radio voice that came on and said, hey guys, let's hear real studies. Fantastic! Why they're lying about that.
Double snare.
Arousing success.
All day long, it's like dissolving a movie. And that's a completely new thing that probably
Snare. Don't turn back now. Please, some help.
My stage is renewed.
I do come.
I
out
won't
as
rest
that
until
there
this
were-
is solved.
Every major incumbent lost their elections around the world this
But I
year.
think that's also
But it might be because
Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
incorrect and dishonest. I think some of these governments were.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's quite possible. And I mean, I do think that there is this cycle that goes
Us against the world.
You know, within a society. It's not just the government that has power. There's like certain people who are in these like culturally elite positions, and you know, journalists,
I'm confident.
TV,
They
newspapers,
have the drop on you.
people broadly.
We need
They're
assistance.
not all in government.
Tremble before blast!
Feeling fantastic.
That's basically and I think a lot of people who
Fantastic!
they're kind of realizing, hey, super honest about a lot of these issues that we face. And I think that's actually why
Muscle can be used against her.
they trust their voices that they feel is authentic and they have valuable information on there. So there's, I think, going to be just this whole new class of
Those guys are about to shoot
who
at us.
basically become the new
Here goes.
that people look at and they're like, okay, these are the people who give it to me straight. And I think that's the thing that is
Your failure was another. What a relief.
That's it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
Fucking hurt.
I don't know to what extent you feel like you
Let me return the favor.
large like because of social media or just
Fantastic!
very what we do is
Look behind you. So close.
wholesale
This is your big chance.
generational shift
They're so mad at me.
listen to. I think that's the very best thing that is going on because I think that's what's not too bad. People saying
This is real firepower!
who are actually going to
Another epic victory.
not
Big
give us like the
win.
bullshit opinions that you're supposed to say, but like the type of stuff that I would actually like when I'm sitting in my living room with my friends and stuff that we know is true. Like the real people who kind of have the courage to actually just say that stuff. I don't know. I think that whole like cultural elite class needs to get populated with people who people actually trust.
Yeah. The problem is these people that are starting these jobs, they're coming out of universities. And from universities, they're indoctrinated into these ideas as well. And it's very difficult to be a person who stands outside of that and
You'll
takes
need a
unpopular
top-notch
positions.
team to
You
win
get
this
socially
one.
ostracized, and people are very hesitant to do that, and they would rather just keep their mouth shut and talk about it in quiet conversation. And that's what we experience, which is another argument for anonymous accounts. I think you should have anonymous accounts. I think you should be able, like, if there's something like COVID mandates or some things that you're dealing with and you don't want to get fired because of it, you should be able to talk about it. And you should be able to
Open
post
your
facts and
eyes.
information and what
Reality
you've learned.
is but an illusion.
And, you know, anecdotal experiences, people in your family that have vaccine side effects and not worried about doing their job, which people do.
I would knit the dimensions back
So
together
crazy.
if it were within
And,
my power.
You know, and you're seeing
Spells are nothing.
30 seconds
a lot of
before you
people
attack.
who used to
Get
be in
ready.
mainstream media got fired, and now they're trying to do the sort of podcast thing.
You been to
But
Cocoa?
they're trying to do it
I'd like to
like
see
a mainstream media person. So they're like gaslighting during the podcast, and people are like, "Hey, fuckface,
For once, even you
can't do that here. It doesn't work."
Yeah, so what's a new medium? I mean, I'm sure you know the history of this. It's like when people transition from radio to TV,
The battle starts in
initial
5,
TV anchors
4,
were the same radio
3,
people, but
2,
just like being filmed
1.
while speaking radio. It turned out it
Help
actually
get that vehicle to its destination.
the radio is just like
Let
your
'em out.
voice and your cadence and all that. It's like, you know, the whole phrase, it's like you got a good radio voice, right? It's like, okay, on TV you need to be telegenic, right? You need to kind of have charisma.
Pentagram of Corral.
A completely different thing. And I think that's going to be true for the internet too. It's, you know, it's not as cut. Right? I think part of it is the format, right? The fact that we do these like 2-3 hours.
Keep going.
By Dr.
I
Strange.
hated TV because, you know, I basically got started. I started video, and I was good at some things, very bad at others. So I was
Good
good at
medicine.
coding and like real bad at kind of like
Almost
talking,
there. Don't turn
explaining
back
what I
now.
was doing. And
You never
I
seen
just,
trees like this
had
on
these
Krakoa.
experiences
Gotta
early
protect
on
it.
where I'd go on TV and like go, well,
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
and I'd like be stupid, and then basically like I'd get super nervous about going on TV because I knew that they were just gonna cut it in some way that I was gonna look like a fucking idiot. And so it's like, this sucks, right? So I just like, it's kind of a funny thing, where I'm like, it's like, in some ways, at the same time I was, you know, gaining confidence, being able to like build more and more complicated products, and it's like, even as a person, I was like, oh, I can do this. And then on the TV and public side, I was like, this is a disaster every time I go out, it's 13 hours of work.
I have
But it's
unfinished
one of the reasons
business
why I think
here.
on the internet, like, there's no reason to cut it to a 4-minute soundbite conversation. It's like, I think
Right.
part of what makes it authentic is like, we can just, I mean, these are complex issues. We can unpack it for hours and probably still have hours of stuff to talk about. It just, it's, I don't know. I think it's just more real.
Yeah, it's definitely that. And the other thing is that
Good medicine.
every time it's just not enough time for important subjects. It's also a lot of them, for whatever reason, want to do this kind of audience, which is the worst way.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
5,000
Yggdrasil will not survive without our help.
Yeah,
Go.
there's that added element.
We need help.
Problem solved!
You have to like think. You have to be able to pause.
Double KO.
Yeah, and also like, when you're
Get that
creating
vehicle
videos,
moving
like,
again.
I don't know, it's like when you start talking about something, your kind of subconscious kicks in, you start thinking about the topic. So it's like you might not actually have the thing that you want to say.
I'm
for, like,
opening
5
a
minutes
portal.
later.
Right, right.
I mean, it's like when we started this conversation, I think like the first few
An
minutes
enemy.
were just kind of slow. It's like warming up. Like, okay, kind of like
Pentagram
downloading
of
the memory,
Corral.
like how am I gonna like, you know, it's like how am I gonna just explain these different things? But it's yeah, no, I just think that's sort of how people work.
The god of
I am ready to put on.
You know, one person can't be dancing at another speed, and the other person's going slow. And you kind of have to find the rhythm
You got
that you're
them
going to talk.
all. Get that vehicle moving again.
You have to actually be interested in what you're talking about.
Yggdrasil will not. By the eye of Agamotto!
Mainstream media is like, they're just doing that because that's their job. Yeah, they probably don't even
You're
know a lot
halfway there.
about climate
Keep
change.
going.
They probably don't really understand too much about what SpaceX is trying to accomplish, but they're just reporting on it.
Sure, there's a lot of people like that there. I think are good.
I'm sure
It's just
there
a tough one.
Can't you build it, Spider?
And the problem is they get locked into that
Almost
format and
there.
no one
Don't turn back now.
and then they leave and they go, what do you just what's that? The other thing.
I burst the darkness!
One of the straight shooters.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
This is why I think it makes sense to me that the government didn't want you to succeed and to have sort of unchecked power that they perceive
Healing energy.
to have. And
Leave
I
them
think
to
the
punish you!
benefits that we have now of the Trump administration is that they have limitations, censorship, government overreach.
Timely
Anybody saw it.
intervention.
There's, I don't know what the actual impact of the Hunter Biden laptop story would be. I don't know. But there's a thing about it that it probably amounts to Canadian windows. People that weren't sure. who
By
they
the
were voting
shades
for,
of the
if they found out the
seraphim,
Hunter
I
Biden laptop
return.
wasn't real, they're like, "Oh, this is your toes. Here they come." And they would have voted. That's possible. And
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
and all that stuff smears the shit out of it. That kind of stuff smears the shit out of it. The government gets involved in what the production but through some
Double KO.
Well, I don't think that.
Pain is no match for the Sorcerer Supreme.
I mean, there's all this stuff about it, but like, people talk about the First Amendment and okay, these tech platforms should offer free speech like the First Amendment. That I think is a philosophical principle. The First Amendment doesn't apply to it.
We must
Get that
undo
vehicle
our
moving again.
entanglement.
It's more of an
Perhaps
American
that will bring
ethos
him
about
back.
Behold the god of thunder!
dialogue is carried out, but
Friends, gather
the First Amendment
around.
does apply to the government. That's a
Good
right, it's
medicine.
not allowed to.
Hostile ahead.
Every delay makes Loki stronger.
I do think that.
I am ready to put on a show. Disappear.
Feel no shame in defeat by Doctor Strange.
Pulse charge! Fire!
Again, a lot of the material is public. I mean, it's out. I mean, Jim Jordan led this whole investigation.
By the eye of Agamotto!
You know, what Elon did on the Twitter files when he took over that company, I think Jim Jordan basically did that for the rest of the industry with the congressional investigation. And we just turned over like all of the documents and everything to them, and they basically
Judge! Jury! Executioner!
That's it. Don't let anything stand in your way.
the investigation.
yeah.
I am wounded.
Was anybody held accountable? Was there any
Dark magic!
That's it. Well, the democracy, I mean, that's kind of
A nice deep freeze.
Almost about out.
not think that CCP
Another.
place to make sure
The
that people are
Sorcerer
punished for that,
Supreme
and that
lives
never happens
once
again.
more.
It seems that
I'm
has
opening a
massive
portal.
impact on the wearer. If that's election interference,
气贯长虹!
that has a massive impact
A
on the
shortcut
direction of
through
our country.
space!
yeah. Well, the COVID thing on elections. Government meddling where it shouldn't have. But yeah, no, it's not for me to say, you know, like specific justice should happen involved in these things. But I think your point about let's make sure this doesn't happen again
Get that vehicle moving again. That's free.
focused on.
The
Right,
Sorcerer
because
Supreme
it's the thing that I reflect
returns.
on in my journey on all this, which is like, okay, yeah, so we didn't take down the stuff that was true, but we did generally defer to government.
We must and shall save the world.
And
Behold the god of thunder!
I just think that's
The Punisher's turret is active.
Great times to get a pressure test.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
And that's the moment that we're at now. Is trying to rationalize a bunch of politics. And look, crazy things can happen in the future.
Hands are shaking again. Focus.
Get that vehicle moving again!
Some kind of angle on this that I haven't.
Disappear!
But I think at this point,
Search in 30 seconds!
and I think
Judge, jury, executioner!
and I think that's a good thing.
Fate of this realm depends on our success.
Very happy. Very happy with this. Very happy about
Final 10 seconds!
been talking to him for a while. And he's like, talk about like an amazing entrepreneur. Right? I just want, because I control, I have
You'll have a new rating in 2 weeks.
Right, it's like normal corporations require basically the CEO to like let them have their job and do it. Hey, we just have security.
We've got problems.
I'm not worried about losing my job because
Doctor
I
is
control
in.
the majority of the voting in the company. So I actually get to use our board to like have the smartest people who I can get.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
So it's like I have the people I want. Like I just want like the best entrepreneurs and people who created different things. Like I mean, Dana's this guy who I mean he basically took the sport from being this like I think it was viewed as like this pretty marginal thing when he got started. Right? I think John McCain was trying to outlaw it. And you know, now it's like, and I think it and F1 are the two fastest growing sports in the world. It's got hundreds of millions of people viewing it. It's like, I mean, what Dana's done with the UFC is like one of the most legendary business stories. And the brand is unlovable. And I think he's just, so he's like a world-class entrepreneur, and he's just like he's got a strong backbone. And I think part of what the conversation that I had with him around joining our board was, okay, like we have a lot of governments and folks around the world putting a lot of pressure on our company, and like we need some like strong people who are
You'll
going to
need a
basically
top-notch team
help,
to win
help
this one.
advise us on how to handle some of these situations. And
I've seen wonders out
so,
there in
yeah.
the cosmos.
But
Few humans
yeah,
will ever
running this
behold.
company is not for the faint of heart. I mean, there's definitely a lot of pressure from like all these different governments, and then it's like, okay, I could spend all my time doing that, but I'm not even a politician. Like I just want to spend my time building things, right? So it's so yeah, I think Dana's gonna be great.
He's the best.
Great entrepreneur.
I agree with everything you said about him. Without him, none of the UFC would have ever taken place the way it did. I mean, you need the Fertitta brothers. They had to come in with all the money and the vision. It's really funny because Eddie Bravo and I, you know, we've been fans for so long. Eddie Bravo and I went
My
to a
inventions
live
have saved
event in the
worlds.
90s.
But the
I
best
was
thing
with
30
ever
seconds
Fertitta's
before you
back
attack.
in Europe,
Get
and
ready.
We went there with Ricky Rocket. You know Ricky Rocket?
No.
From Poison?
No.
He's a fucking black belt.
pleasure to see you.
He's legit.
I wish I could say the same.
Really nice guy. Anyway, so
You may not be a
Ricky Rocket and him were at the UFC, and we were talking about it in the 90s.
Thank you for
like,
the
what this sport
invite,
needs,
but I think
'cause
I
we were
will
in love
pass.
with it. We're like this, but we were martial artists. We were like, the sport
battle
needs
starts in 5,
some billionaires
4,
who just
3,
throw a ton of money
2,
and just get
1.
it huge. And then the Fertitta brothers come along, billionaires with a ton of money who are huge fans of the sport, just love the sport. You know, we're hiring people like Frank Shamrock to come
Help
and
get that
train them
vehicle
and
to
work
its
out.
destination.
Jiu-jitsu with John Lewis.
My
They're
destiny
really
hang in the
getting into
balance.
it. And so then they buy the UFC. Probably the greatest purchase ever. Except they were $40+ million in the hole when they financed the Ultimate Fighter. And then that was 2005. And then this one fight takes place with Stephen Bonner.
Sorry to ruin your
On television.
Predictable
It's so
outcome.
wild, so crazy that millions of people come to Europe. And then you have Chuck Liddell,
You're halfway there. Keep going.
never have just like fucking with just a psychopath with a fucking head tattoo and a mohawk crushing people. You know, in his prime, he was the first.
Who will help
UFC because he was just.
I won't rest
smashing
until this is
and then
solved.
throwing his arms back like rah, in a cage. It was nuts. I'm sure you've seen a lot of Chuck Liddell fights,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was just the whole
There's
thing
another
took
one
off.
down.
Without Dana, it would have never taken place. The guy's tireless. But man,
Consider this
I
an
can call him up. I'll call him up like
shot.
sometime. Like this.
Susan, we've been
What's
discovered.
going on next week? It's so fucking awesome. We'll talk for hours.
I've got you.
He's like,
We are undefeatable!
you know, and he's like so driven. Excellent. Like, oh my God, he's got what Gary Breakfast done for him is incredible. He walks
Your powers are mine!
That's so friend.
He doesn't fuck around with alcohol anymore.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
We're lucky to have him.
Yeah, we are. And you know what? We're also lucky that you
Maximum pulse!
You do. You
Almost
look like a
there.
jiu-jitsu
Don't
guy.
turn back now.
I saw your neck. I'm like, his neck's bigger. Your neck is bigger.
Good.
Are you using iron neck or is it just from
I
training?
do like iron neck, but it's but when I started
We've
training
got
not
trouble.
just jujitsu but
That's
striking,
the trick.
I was like, all right, I want to find a way to do this where I don't like hurt my brain, right? It's like, all right, like I need to. I'm gonna be running this company for a while.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Down.
That wasn't good. And he's coming up behind.
Well, in addition to good partners, is yeah. So yeah. No,
Fantastic!
Very important. Great for jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yeah.
certain conditions like head and arm chokes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And, you know, also bending things and just overall stability.
I've got your back.
But for striking, it's very, like Mike Tyson in his prime. Yeah,
Nice.
fucking 20 inch
Yeah,
neck.
no, it's crazy. His neck is like bigger than his.
Well, hello there.
Fantastic!
The next step.
Turn around.
We've got problems. You're bringing which is really important.
There's still more
You're halfway there. Keep
Systematically.
going.
Probably the way you've learned all these other things, which is really so fascinating to me about MMA and jiu-jitsu in particular, is the general public has this knuckle-dragging, meathead sort of perspective, and then I'm like, let me introduce you to Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah. Well, there's a range. There's a range.
Mikey's one of the elite of the elite, and he's a
Not so fast, friend.
unbelievably brilliant in his senses.
Behold the god of thunder!
A futile attempt.
Yes, I am too. Well, I'm glad a guy like this.
Well,
I
Well, hello there.
like when you
Trouble has arrived.
believer in the world. There's no
That's three.
you leave there,
The
you're the
odds
kindest
weren't in
person
your
in the world.
favor.
Just
This
like
shield
get all
should
of
do
your
nicely.
aggressions out of your system.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal stress reliever because protection,
Almost
regardless
there.
of what
Don't
you're
turn
going
back
through
now.
day to day with Facebook and Meta and all the different projects that are going on, it's not as hard as someone to choke you unconscious.
It's not as acute. I think it's like, sometimes you have to choke you unconscious slowly over a multi-year.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the pace.
I
Double
think that
KO.
sometimes in business,
I took no pleasure in that, Peter.
It is very refreshing. Just having feedback. It's like, oh, I had my hand down, so I got punched.
Your powers are mine!
That's
Maximum pulse!
I basically try to train.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
We've got trouble.
Do sometimes grappling, some striking, or sometimes both. But it got to the point where I tore my ACL. Probably. At that point, I wasn't integrated between my weight training and my fighting training. So I think I was about now do this way, which I think will be more sustainable. But when I drew my ACL,
I'm on the rebound.
now it's like
That's it.
you can't do this.
Undefeatable! Protective shield.
And I expected her to be like, "You're an idiot. Like, what do you expect?" You're like, I was in my late 30s at the time. But she was like, "No."
Fantastic!
You are so much better to be your
Feeling fantastic. You can count on us, Spider.
Rest easy now.
They're outside of it.
I mean, it definitely takes the edge. But it's like after like a couple of hours
Sure how we'll
in the
solve
morning,
it.
it's just like, yeah, it's like nothing else that day is going to stress you out.
Behold
Right?
the
Yeah,
god.
just deal with it.
Voluntary person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. It's also good, I think, to feel a little bit tired.
I won't rest until this is solved.
I love that feeling of just like, you're not like exhausted, and sometimes you get a session and you just go so hard and I need to like just go to sleep or something. But,
Yeah.
Fantastic!
It's a good thing.
yeah.
If you give it a go, you can sell it with a bill.
Pulse charge.
Yeah. No one would say I like being a vulnerable guy walking around.
Your god is suffering.
Yeah, no one would say. How much
Maximum pulse.
Oh, give me one of the
I'm not ready to give up
Yeah,
yet.
it's just not a pit. It's a long journey of pain and discipline and trial and error and learning.
Rest easy. They're sneaking from behind.
So fast, friend.
Feeling fantastic.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Good work, Susan.
Do it actually. Brain knows exactly what to do in every position.
Some pep in my step.
Moving your body,
Double kill.
managing anxieties,
A futile
you're trying
attempt.
to figure out when to hit the gas and when to control position and recover. There's so much going on, Trey,
And so it
that
begins.
applies to
We are undefeatable! Not sure how we'll solve this without you, Tony. Behind you!
Feeling fantastic.
you shouldn't kill people. I'm not saying you should say that, but I'm saying that good thing too. If someone's trying to kill you, absolutely
Fantastic!
I mean, it's
For one another.
Only 60 seconds left.
I mean, it is just
So close.
Nexus
This
point
is
for
your
the
big
sake of all
chance.
reality.
just kind of
The moon haunts you.
society.
More of that than us.
A futile attempt.
And there's like a whole
Down to 30 seconds.
I think it is very helpful in the right balance.
Academic professor.
I mean, I think part of it is
Oh, I'm fine.
stress me.
The god of thunder.
See you being like this ruthless person.
Final 10 seconds.
I'm just gonna like crush the people and beating
We'll
them.
make it to
But like,
0.
but when you're fighting, it's like, no, that's
Pulse
like,
charge.
so subordinate.
Pick up your toys and fight. Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Because it goes back to the media.
You never fail to impress me, Ray.
Feeling fantastic.
You gotta get you to the master beat.
When you definitely got a lot of respect for martial arts, that's super excited that you're so involved and so interested in it. Because anytime someone like yourself or anytime something like that happens, and there's like some new person, who's a prominent person, a very smart person, really interested in it, we all get very excited because we're like, oh,
It's a very welcoming community.
super.
I think there's
Super
a
kind.
lot of sports that are like, nah, we don't want you.
It's not a job.
Yeah, no,
It's
no,
super kind.
Yeah.
Like jiu-jitsu people in particular, they're some of the nicest people. My friends forever. You know, they'll be my friends for life.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a good curve. I mean, when I got hurt, I really, kind of miss the guys I trained with.
Oh,
I mean,
it
it's like
sucks.
Dave has put together this group. It's basically these like all these young pro fighters who are kind of like up and coming.
Pick your hero.
Kind of early
Or villain.
20s.
I'm
but
not judging.
They've only been doing it for a few years. So like I've been doing it for a few years. That way it's like we kind of have a more similar level of skill, and they're all better than me.
I've
But,
seen
but in
wonders
terms
out
of,
there
I'm,
in
like,
the cosmos
I was in my
few
late
humans
30s,
will
they're
ever
early
behold.
20s. It was sort of like they're kind of coming into becoming men. I'm like sort of at the end of my physical peak, but it's like it's a really good crew. Yeah, no, it's a good crew. And the competing thing is fun. I can't wait to get back to that too. I mean, it's like basically, and I was also doing it with, so it's basically a group of pro fighters, and then a handful of guys would do. And basically, we just
There's
kinda,
a
like, fight each
solution
other,
for
it'd be
every
fun.
problem if you
And-
30
just
seconds
and,
before you attack.
And
Get
then one
ready.
of them decided one day that they were like, you know, I think I'm getting.
I'm glad
pretty
you're
good
here,
at
Bruce.
jiu-jitsu.
We could use
And
someone
I was
with
like, all
your
right, good luck with
special
that, bro.
skills.
Like, I'm not going to.
I have
I'm not
some
gonna do it.
ideas,
It's like,
but
I
as a
gotta-
man of
like, I gotta
science,
go to
I've
tournament,
learned to admit
get
that some
embarrassed. It's
forces are beyond
but
my
then guy goes
comprehension
to the
or
tournament, he, like,
control.
does pretty well. I'm like, that guy? It's like okay.
Battle starts in 5, 4,
If he's doing well in the tournament, it's like, all right, fine. Sign me
one.
up, right? It's like, and so
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
So
Got it?
this was like.
What's wrong with purple? I like
It must have
purple.
been. I guess I
A strong defense.
And I registered under
Heads
my
up,
first
bad
initial,
guys.
so people didn't know who I was.
My
Sunglasses, hat, and
Turn around, quick.
and it basically was like, it wasn't until they called our names and stepped onto the path that I was like, all right,
Nice feature. Looks like the mission area is yours to capture.
I mean, yeah.
They kind of freak out.
I think he was trying to figure out what was going on. After Mark Zuckerberg, who just submitted
I'm
me,
not ready
the
to give up
coach was
yet.
like, no way. Then it's like, no, I think that was. It's like, what? You're fighting Mark Zuckerberg? It's like, get back in there. It's like, go fight him. It's like, no, he just submitted me. It's.
That's very funny.
Yeah, man.
Well, Tom Hardy's doing that too, right? He's done
wait,
multiple.
does that mean Ragnarok?
Capture the mission area.
Yeah, I can't wait to stick with it.
Healing.
It's been
Why
sort of
would
a
I
slow
need
journey
healing?
on it's sort of learning twice.
Wow, 4 in a row.
I'm not ready to give up
Oh no,
yet.
I'm done with the rehab now. Now I'm just ramping
How
back
far out are you from surgery?
up. 12 months, 13 months.
So you did the patella tendon graft, right?
I did.
Yeah. That's a rough one. I did patella tendon graft in my left knee, and it was I did it the ACL from a cadaver. The Achilles tendon from a cadaver. What a
But yeah.
We got a shield, Tandy.
100%
We have triumphed.
in the bag.
Yeah.
That was similar. I was 26. The second one.
A strong
I was
defense.
32, somewhere around there.
Oh, so young.
Yeah.
So my doctor was just like, look, we're at the boundary. Again. I'd recommend it.
I mean, just from my doctor told me that the ACL from a cadaver when you use it, it's a yield back.
What a relief! Fantastic!
But the
Futile
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Getting on my knees, like training on my knees, doing certain positions, even just stretching.
Maximum pulse!
Consider this an irreconcilable.
Heels and then laying
I'm not
back.
ready to give up
Focus
yet.
hours.
It took forever to break all that scar tissue up. And now it's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine now. but
Yeah, I
obviously
mean-
it's a long time ago.
Yeah, I can kind of do everything that I want at this point. It's still like a little sore, but I don't know. I think that it's supposed to be a couple of years until you like feel like it's fully. I think it takes some time for the nerves to grow into it.
Did you
Area's almost
provide
yours.
cards in your recovery?
I didn't.
That
That was unusually satisfying.
Do I need healing? No.
I didn't use peptide.
I don't know. I just took my doctor's advice.
Let me return the favor.
Disappear!
Fantastic!
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
Like the first time that I learned all this stuff, I was probably like a little too
A predictable
about it.
outcome.
And just like muscling through stuff. And now, I don't know. Now I feel like I'm like really learning how to do this stuff correctly, and I can do it way more effortlessly. So it's
that's the goal. How did it pop? How did it pop?
I was like the end of a session.
Everything
And, 2 hours
eventually
into training,
ends.
and I was doing like a few.
I'm here to
rounds,
make
and,
sure this is not the day that it
and
does.
I threw a leg kick, and the other guy went to check it, and I like leaned
30
back to try
seconds
to get
before you
around the check
attack.
and just put
Get
too
ready.
much torque on my knee. So it was the planted leg, but
A time stream reintegration
it's-
device may
I don't
be
know,
our
Dave
only
was
hope
like-
to mend the damage the dooms have
before the round,
caused.
Dave was like, "You're
Between
done."
the two of
No
us, we
more
should be able to have a
round.
working
Yeah, so-
prototype and
As well.
Yeah, and I basically
Thanks for the shield.
You know, I basically it also just
The
done
battle
a really
starts in
hard
5,
kind of
4,
leg
3,
workout the day
2,
before, but I don't think
1.
the fight guys didn't know.
All you need to do
I
is capture
really-
the mission area. Got
Are you
it?
aware of knees over toes
Doom
guy?
must answer
Yeah.
for what he has done to
Done his stuff.
Asgard and
I've
all
looked at it a
other
bunch. I mean,
worlds.
the rehab thing I took really seriously, and I thought that was pretty interesting too. It's, I don't want to like do a lot of rehabs like
Our
this one,
adversaries
but
gather.
A nice deep breath.
They are upon you. Beware.
no, I feel like
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Resistance is futile. As expected.
stuff.
I'm more
Wrists,
resilient than you
shoulders,
think.
Knee, all that in addition to the big muscle groups.
Yeah, that's very smart. The knee over toes guy stuff is particularly effective because it all comes from a guy that had a series of pretty catastrophic knee injuries and was plagued with weak knees his whole life,
Mission
and
area
then
is
developed a
yours.
bunch of different methods to strengthen all the supporting muscles around the knee that are really extraordinary. Everything from Nordic curls. Do you do those? Do you Nordic curls?
I should do more than you do.
Leg curls, hand curls, but Nordic curls are particularly and all these different slant squats.
Good work, Susan.
Lunges.
Feeling fantastic.
All these different things.
Your failure was
Up
inevitable.
all
There's
the
still more
supporting
work to be
muscles
done.
around the knee, better than anything that I've ever tried before. And he's got like a whole program where it scales up and he puts it online for everybody. And he gives away a lot of information for free because he said, look, when I was 11 years old, I wish I had access to this. Great guy. Cool. But I can't recommend that stuff enough. But I think what you're doing is like
Turn around. You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
this thing, you know, it's better to have
Losing is not an acceptable outcome. Return the favor.
you know, you don't want to have the wrong.
Control lost.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of movements and weight training and it's, I don't know, first off, like a lot of yeah, I mean, I just think
Fantastic!
Control
I'm not ready to give up
7-year-old
yet.
dudes trying to kill each other.
yeah,
It's nuts.
it's great.
It is great, but for real, sincerely, we're very happy to. I think I can speak. Rarely do, but I think I can speak for the martial arts. It makes it fun that someone
The area's almost yours.
prominent, intellectual, very intelligent person has gotten fascinated because it does come from a skill that the knuckle dragger.
Control lost. Double
In terms of
KO.
actually breaking this stuff down.
See them?
Yeah, but like the reasoning behind why you kind of want to slip in certain ways and like the probability game that you're playing is, I don't know.
I'll never forgive myself for this, Susan.
Feeling fantastic.
My resistance is down.
Level, but it was pretty good.
Your team's captured.
And like,
Who could fight the goddess of hell?
you know, I just remember I would like sit in classes in high school and like sketch of moves and sequences for how to like feint and like and kind of trick someone to get them out of position to be able to tap them, and it's I feel like this is like a game in the same way, right? It's like, I mean, I think when you're training, you're not like slugging each other, right? You know, playing tag.
Yeah, you're playing that. Well, the way the time
You offer protection.
Our efforts deserve praise.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Behold the god of thunder!
I'll carry on our work, Tony. You have my word.
I mean, this is my thing. And like, and I think I probably will, but we'll see. I mean, it's 2025. I think is going to be a very busy year on the AI side.
Yeah.
And I don't like. I think the idea of having
Another epic victory.
and so I need to figure this out because I don't know how with everything that's going on in AI, I have like a week or two where I can just get into this like I'm gonna go fight someone. But it's good training. But I would like to at some point. You know, the thing about the ACL injury is I kind of thought before this, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do some jiu-jitsu competitions. I want to do one MMA fight, like one kind of like pro or competitive MMA fight. I figured I'd go back to jiu-jitsu, but I think tearing the ACL striking is a little more of a fluke. I think you're much more likely to do that grappling. So going through the ACL experience didn't make me want to like just exclusively go do the version where you're just attacking joints all day long, right? So I'm like, all right, I can take a few more punches to the face before we go back to that.
You can hurt yourself doing both of them. You know, there's really no rhyme or reason. I blew my left ACL kickboxing, my right ACL jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
It
So
happens.
equal opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, this like Tom Aspinall famously blew his out against Curtis Blades with a supporting leg, just threw a kick, and it's freak accidents.
Yeah.
Weird things happen.
Perfection is
there's a lot of
unattainable,
explosive force
but
with
that should not
striking.
stop us
I've
from
done
trying to
frontier
achieve
things
it.
more than slow, controlled movements of jiu-jitsu, especially if you have good training partners.
Yeah, but jiu-jitsu isn't always slow and controlled.
Nope.
When you're,
No, especially
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks. That's it.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to move fast. Like, always step ahead of it.
This time I need healing.
oh yeah.
The cosmos heals.
I feel better already. I forget. I think Columbus.
It's much better. You forced my
There's
hand.
a rash guard.
I have risen.
He's a freak, and he's so fucking smart.
Healing
like, scary
power.
smart about all kinds of things. It's not just jiu-jitsu. You know, he's got a
The
memory
rich just
like
keep
a
getting richer.
device.
Some things never
He just
change.
holds on to thoughts and can
Stronger together.
his recalls. Insane. He's a legitimate genius that became obsessed with jiu-jitsu, and what he's done with Gordon and
That's it.
no,
Better stop that vehicle.
just an interesting guy.
I am
Practice show, had a couple episodes.
Yeah. I saw the one.
Yeah.
This time I need healing.
Happy there's some
The cosmos heals you.
people out
Yeah, there's no spectrum.
there.
double KO.
There's still some
much to do. Healing
Why that
power.
is. I think it's the hard work thing. It's the cutting out all of the bullshit and realizing how much of the things that we take as real things are just excuses.
Healing power.
Armed and again! 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 Again!
Quantum match.
I am through!
Stop that
It's
vehicle!
kind of just what I was just saying before. I think
That's one down.
the corporate world
There's still
is
so much
like
to do.
pretty culturally, and I just think like having, you know, I grew up
Quantum
with sisters,
magic.
no brothers.
Needed that, thanks.
I have 3 daughters,
Guys
no
like
sons.
this make
So
it
I'm like
hard for me to
surrounded by
get my
girls,
job done.
women, my whole life, and it's like there's just something masculine energy I think is good. You know, obviously, there's society is but corporate culture is really like trying to get away from it. And I do think
Healing power.
It's like, I don't know, all these forms of energy are good, and I think having a culture that like celebrates the aggression a bit more has its own merits that are really positive. And that's good.
A little help, please.
Just like having a thing that I can just like do
Double
with my
kill!
friends and
Destiny awaits.
and it's just like we're just like beat each other a bit. I don't know, it's good.
It is good.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
don't know.
It's good. It just I can see your point though about
Healing power.
corporate culture.
Fantastic! Again!
Like I do think that if you're
Us against the world!
Born again!
and I think one thing
Invisible?
basically say
I am born
that
anew.
masculinity is bad. And I just think we kind of swung culturally to that part of the kind of
There's still a
the
chance to
spectrum
stop
where
them!
you know, it's all like okay, masculinity is toxic.
Quantum match. Feeling fantastic. Our foes have
You
arrived.
want like masculinity, you want masculine energy. Like I think that's like you're gonna have parts of society that have more of one than the other. I think
I'm fine. Don't mind you.
The cosmos heals you.
is somewhat more
You stop them in their
new
tracks!
and I didn't really feel that until I think is still a
Armed and dangerous!
One down.
its own way, but
There's still so
but I think
much
that
to
there's just
do.
a lot more of that energy there. And I just kind of realized it's like, oh, this
Well,
is
that's
like
how you become successful at martial arts. You have to be at least somewhat aggressive.
yeah. So but
Disappear!
yeah, I mean, there are these things. There are like a few of these things.
The cosmos
throughout your
heals
life
you.
where you have an experience and you're
Down to
like,
30
"This is my
seconds.
whole life.
He
And it
stepped
just
him
like
in
it
their
just
tracks.
turned on like a part of my brain that I was like, okay, like this was
been discovered.
quantum that should have been there, and I'm glad
That I felt that way.
Final 10 seconds!
Lead them to down!
And then there's
Another epic victory! Big win!
that's injured, or at least wasn't recently. Most of them in the world live in a small stretch, or at least most of them on Kauai live in a small stretch that includes our ranch. So you constantly have these pigs that are just like, multiply so quickly. You basically have to apply pressure to the population, or else they're just going to overrun the birds and the other wildlife. And So, and what I basically explained to my daughters, who I also want to learn how to do this, because I just feel like it's like, look, we have this land, we take care of it, just like you mow the grass. We need to make sure that these populations are in check. It's part of what we do as like the stewards.
You'll
of
need
this,
a top-notch team to win this one.
And then if you have to kill something,
I've seen wonders out there in the cosmos few humans will ever behold.
You know, use the meat to make food and kind of celebrate it in that way. But it's a culture that I think it's just an important thing for kids to grow up understanding, like the circle of life, right? So, you know, teaching the kids all of, you know, what is kind of, you know, how you run a ranch, how you run a farm. I think that stuff, it's good because it, you know, explaining to the kids what a tech company is really abstract, right? So for a while,
My ultimate goal
my
is
daughters
simple.
were pretty convinced
Solve everything.
that
So,
my
30 seconds before you
actual
attack.
job
Get
was
ready.
Mark's Meats, which is our kind of
Wait,
ranch,
shields?
like cattle.
I'd like to run a few tests on you when this is all over,
Well,
James.
Quite, and you'll learn when you get older. But I think that there's something that's just like much
Are
more
you sure?
tangible about
What if Hydra
than,
implanted something inside
taking
of
them
you?
to the office and sitting in product for some like piece of software.
The battle starts in 5,
Yeah.
4,
Yeah,
3,
if you do wind up
2,
eating that meat,
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
oh, this is where meat comes from.
I am
Yeah.
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 Which is another
Trouble has
reason
arrived. Fast, friend.
Yeah. Well, my favorite.
The odds weren't in your favor. They have a tactical advantage.
Just trying to get meat. It's not effective circular rifle. But I prefer it because it requires more of it.
Another one bites
And
the...
you just kind of go.
I'm more resilient than you
and you have to
think.
be fit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're mountain hunting, you have to be really fit.
Yeah.
You can't just be kind of in shape. You got to be really fit. If you want to huff up the mountains and keep your heart rate at a certain level so that when you get to the top, you can execute a shot calmly
And then actually carry it.
Yeah.
I have a shield, but no complaints.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm mostly.
What a relief! A little help, please.
But it's
Eyes on your back. The darkness is out.
I think it's good. But
Well, hello there.
Enemy, I am ready to put on a show!
I think it's good.
Fantastic!
God of Thunder!
I'll do my best to carry on,
It's
babe.
basically a bunch of the guys.
I am Groot! Behold the God of Thunder!
The thing about archery is
Still more work to be done.
one of the things I learned when I was teaching is that it's way easier to teach someone that knows nothing than to teach someone who learned something incorrectly. The people who learned something incorrectly, the moment things got tense and they panicked, they went back to the old ways. Because it's sort of ingrained in their system. So archery, one of the things that's very important.
Got you.
And,
Feeling fantastic.
especially
Anyone willing to help?
and learning how to have a surprise shot
I'll patch you up.
What a scratch!
one of the most important
I'm
things
more
is to
resilient than you
have,
think.
a shot
I would advise
process
using caution here.
where you don't know exactly when the arrow is going off. You just have a process where you're pulling through the shot and the shot breaks. So it's a surprise shot. So you put the pin on the target. I use a thumb trigger.
This
I use
shield
a-
should do
I use a
nicely.
thing called an onyx.
Oh,
Okay, the reason why I use an
Judge!
onyx
Jury!
So,
Executioner!
so as I pull
feeling fantastic.
ready to go on. So I've gone through stage 1. Now stage 2 is the shot process.
I'll
and then
patch
it's
you
gonna
up.
break. And then there's no tweak. There's no tweak. There's no.
I won't
there's no
rest
thing
until
that
this
people
is
do when they
solved.
have a finger trigger where they twitch because your body is anticipating the shock of the bow. And when you're doing that, you can be off by 6 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, all over the place because you're moving while you're shooting. When you're doing it with a rifle, it's very different because obviously the rifle's far faster.
Yeah.
And then you have the scope, so you're all you have to do is just slowly squeeze. And if you're smart,
Only 60 seconds
prone,
left.
or you'll have your
Put you
rifle.
on
Judge, jury, executioner!
With a
I
bow,
won't
it's very
rest
different.
until this is solved.
Arm, so you have to have the proper form, you have to have the proper posture, and then there's the slow process. And my friend Joel, who is a sniper,
Behold the god of thunder!
he's got this whole online system of developing the proper execution of a shot. When you see like tournament archers, when they go to Vegas,
Down to 30 seconds.
What a Vegas tournament
There's
is.
still more work to be done.
3 targets. And they have to shoot 30 arrows at a time. So they shoot 10 in this one, 10 in that one, 10 in this one. And the really good archers score in 10. So they're in the center or closest center. They're hitting the 10 range every arrow for 30 arrows in a row. And then there's round after round. Another 30 arrows. And if you miss it, you get a 9, you're done.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
The most valuable you can get. The best way to do that.
This is real firepower!
They keep it totally and it's always
Enjoy the air
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
press it.
I won't rest until this is solved.
The hinge,
Anyone willing to
which
help?
activates the
No
center.
worries. I've got your back.
Yeah. So you're just hammering the trigger. You're doing exactly what you're not supposed to do. Really? Yeah. You're thumb. Yeah, you're hitting with your thumb, right? Like that. So with a good surprise shot,
Feeling fantastic.
and once the trigger breaks off, your arm will naturally go back because you're not out.
Long range shooting. Smart.
That elk out there, the photograph that's in the front, that one I shot in front of the building you walk into. There's a mouth.
That almost hurt.
Behind you. That's good, Spider Zero. Where should we go?
That's rare. Most
Good
of
work,
the time,
Susan.
it's like, for me,
There's a
my
sniper.
effective range, like where I'd like to be, is coming up.
I am ready to put on a show.
Let me return the favor.
It's fun.
Yeah, so I think that
Behold the god of thunder! Judge, jury, executioner!
Hammer the trigger. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Judge, jury, executioner!
18 yards is
There's still more work to be done.
105 yards. It's a huge gap. It might be 2 feet to the right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you thought you were shooting accurately because you're inside of like a pie plate at 20 yards.
Sniper. Another fearsome foe.
Hit him with those bets, darling.
What a relief.
Only 60 seconds left.
Shouldn't be bothering
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Like say you want
We've got trouble. You were supposed to
to
figure
save up all your money, get your gear all ready, get your arrows ready, practice, and then you're in the mountains for 10 days, and on the 11th
I'm more
day,
resilient than you
get
think.
this animal that moves is at 57 yards and stands there, and you're like, your heart's beating. You just might hammer that trigger. You just
Down to
might hammer
30
it. So
seconds.
you have to have this shot process.
Anyone willing to help?
You're literally talking to yourself inside.
Another fearsome foe. Plasma.
Clear a safe path, Spider Zero. Well, hello there.
The final 10 seconds.
Even so, some people can't keep their pin on the target. they have to keep their pin below the target and raise it up to the target. When it gets where the target is, they hammer the trigger. And they're just freaking out.
A force field!
I mean, I guess. That's what you're asking.
Futile intent.
But no, I mean,
I am ready to put on a show!
Located a
This is real firepower!
One way we get to the finish line, Zero. Together. A little help, please. They go behind you.
faster and taking down all the bowling pins.
Now we really have to attack.
Judge, jury, executioner!
A futile intent.
There! Don't turn back now!
I think that the dynamic that you're talking about, though, where you only see one animal every day, then that is just
Let me return the favor.
but it's not a sniper.
I've got you. Double the failure.
Sure.
Fantastic!
I go out.
Never fear some
And it's like, I don't get any. It's like, okay. It's not like,
From the map, Zero, there is no room for failure.
vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Control is my way!
I posted a video on Instagram.
Another fearsome foe.
Man, you're formed as shit. So I think it checks out with the conversation that we're having now.
Well, the issue with that is that you're reading the comments.
You made your last mistake on my
Sniper right there. See?
That's fair.
After all these years, you still find ways to impress me,
Anyone willing
Susan.
to help?
Yeah, although, I don't know, it's pretty funny. I think that just like getting the
We've been discovered.
This is not meant to be helpful.
yeah, they can.
Behold the god
Ready to put on a show! Shields up! Don't let anything stand in your way! Only 60 seconds left!
But I definitely don't send them to the paper.
Fantastic!
Guys that'll send
We need to disappear.
So fast, friend.
social media.
So close! This is your big chance!
Feeling fantastic.
30 seconds!
Disconnect.
A little help, please.
Basically, my kids at this point are 9, 7, and 1. So you're not.
That almost hurt.
Final 10 seconds!
I mean,
We're very focused. I think that
Disappear!
Judge, jury, executioner!
use and what's good and what's not. It's really complicated. Look, I think every family
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
how they want to approach this. Right, so from my perspective, we have one of my daughters just loves buildings, so she clearly takes after me as well. Like every day she's just like doing this and that thing. It's like she's creating stuff with Legos, and it's like one day it's that, or the next day it's Lego. Then from my perspective, it's like, okay, Minecraft is actually kind of a cooler tool to build stuff than Legos a lot of the way.
Pick your hero.
So it's
Or villain. I'm not
am I gonna
judging.
say that there needs to be some kind of limit on her screen time if she's doing something that's creative, that's maybe like a richer form of what she would have been doing physically.
right.
In that case, probably not. Now, there were times when she'd get
30
so excited
seconds
about
before
what she
you
was
attack.
building in Minecraft,
Get ready.
or something that she was coding in Scratch.
My
that she'd wake
inventions
up
have saved the world.
to
The best
get
thing I
there
ever
and
built was my
And-
family.
That was bad, right? Because then it's like starting to get in the way of her sleep. In August, you can't do that, right? It's like you're going to take your iPad away if you're doing that.
I'm getting up early.
It's like August.
Battle starts in 5.
I did that too when I was a kid. But
3,
Yeah.
2,
It's not
1.
gonna leave the best while you're out.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
What the richest people do. Your dad, you're like, what the fuck, Dad?
Yeah.
Didn't it work for you?
I mean, you
Leave
know.
me alone, my iPad. I'm trying to figure out how to build a mansion. And
Yeah. It's either gonna work or it's gonna end badly. But
Right.
But it's like, but I feel like building
They
stuff.
look like they
I
mean
feel generally
business.
pretty good about. I think communication. I generally feel hopeful about the kids using, and they use it to talk to grandparents, parents.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Good. The messenger service.
feeling fantastic.
Texting service. I kind of think that different parents are different values on what their kids will do. They might not even want their kids to work message or friends or not. Hey, no, I'm proud of the game. I don't think about that as good.
The mission area is yours.
You're doing on giving parents the tools that they need to basically control
Making the cut.
we don't even really
Need that boost.
stuff like this.
There's
Kids,
still
we
more
don't
work to be
have
done.
Services are apps generally available to people under the age of 13 at all. So I mean, our kids haven't had to like have the conversation about when they get Instagram or Facebook or any of that stuff. But when they turn 13, we basically want parents to be able to have complete control over their kids' experience. And that's we just rolled out which is it's a set of controls. Where,
Control
you know,
lost.
if you're an older teen, you follow your experience that we're getting like harassed or but if you're a younger teen, then you actually
Double KO.
and they actually have to like,
I'm not
sign
ready
in
to give up
and
yet.
do all the stuff in order to make it so that you can connect with people who are beyond your network, or if you want to kind of be a public figure, like all these different kinds of things. So I feel like that's probably
You're still
And one of the things we highlighted recently was
Maximum pulse!
to me one of the most fascinating aspects. That almost hurt. You know, when you and I were doing that,
Mission area.
be
Keep
applied
going.
to so many different things. It's like there's so many opportunities, not just for just pure reputation, but today, so many things.
Fantastic!
Us against the world.
Enemy in front.
Area's almost yours.
Never miss.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
The odds weren't in your favor.
Fantastic!
Behind you.
Gotta look out for one.
Just who I was looking for.
A futile attempt.
is that possible? It's possible. I think that there's other things that are probably more important to deliver. So I guess taking a step back, a lot of how we think about the goal here is delivering like
There's a
realistic
solution for every problem
Right, no
if you
technology
just look
today
hard enough.
gives you the feeling as if you're like physically there with another person. Right,
An
you're
extra
like,
force field?
interacting with them on
Great.
your phone. You have this like, little window. It's kind of taking you away from everything.
30
you know,
seconds
that's, like,
before
the
you
magic
attack.
of
Get ready.
Augmented virtual reality.
All shielded up.
Feel this like presence, like you're there
Please
with
tell
another
me
person.
this isn't the date
The
night
question
you've
is,
been
okay, how do you
planning
do
for us,
that?
Reed.
No.
Million things that
Think about it.
that.
What could
I'm
be
not
more
the first
romantic
to
than
go
saving the
around and
universe
have
side by
the
side?
room stay.
Literally anything.
Getting good spatial audio, right? As it speaks, that the audio needs to be
The
3D.
battle starts in
The
5,
place where they're
4,
speaking.
3, 2,
It's very interesting
1.
which
All you need to
things
do is capture the
kind of
mission
lead
area.
further
Got it?
This kind of creating this sense of presence. in
How
the
about I
game.
switch things up
So,
and make our
having
opponents
hands,
disappear?
obviously, you can move around, but you can't actually like move things. That breaks the illusion. But having hands,
They look like they mean business.
stuff is
I'll patch you up.
Anyone willing to help?
I unleash the Vishanti's power!
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area is yours.
No, your hand is here. But that doesn't
You're
necessarily
welcome.
tell us where your
Even
elbow
small
is.
victories are worth
Yes.
celebrating.
Yes.
Hitting here
Yes.
comes
Usually I create my own
This isn't science,
You,
it's
like,
torture.
see VR. It's like, you see that there? Bubbles.
Let me return the favor.
Actually, what's going on? Messed up. So, a lot of things that keep going wrong. So, the most important first
Please,
thing
give me a
is
I'm
on the
not
hand,
ready to
right?
give
We
up
have
yet.
So many more
Leave them
neurons,
to
basically,
Khonshu,
or,
Berserker!
but just like sensation. It's like such higher resolution on your
Hey,
fingertips
team!
than any
Enjoy
rest
the
of body.
amplifier!
So, when you grab something, making it so that
I have a shield, but no complaints.
a lot of people where you like pull a trigger, you get like a remote or something. And it feels like
Double
it's not
kill.
like a generic thing.
That's
It
3.
does not feel like
Control
paddle, you
lost.
feel where it hits the paddle. And we basically built a system where now with this like physical paddle, you can kind of hit the haptics makes it so you can feel where the ball hits the paddle. It's like those things that
Fantastic!
some things though, like if you get punched.
Let me return the favor.
Control C.
Probably simulate some.
Us against the world.
Little. It's not able to deliver that much force, so maybe wants to get punched in the stomach that much. But like,
Someone
it's
scratch
not
my
able to
back.
deliver enough force to use it.
exposed.
For example, let's say you have kickboxing.
The area is almost yours.
Right now, it's like when you kick, when you're spit. It's the shadow kick. Like there's not gonna be anything you can do. Like
I'm more resilient than you think.
VR with a haptic suit that like makes it so that you're gonna be able to
You'll
kick
have to
someone
keep
who's
fighting
not
until
there
we have a
physically
winner.
and actually be able to do that.
Right.
So like
bad guys.
grappling,
Just
it's
what
like
we need.
Maximum pulse!
Hey, team! Enjoy the amplifier!
Fantastic!
That's probably one of the better games for like fighting type stuff. So you can like just feel it in your body. But I don't know. I think what's basically gonna end up happening is you're gonna have like a home setup for these things, and then you're gonna have
Another epic victory. Big win.
like people. It's almost like a theme park where you can go into and you can have like a really immersive VR experience where it's not just that you get like a vest that can simulate some haptics. It's that you're also like in a real physical environment, so they can like have smoke come out or something, you can smell that, feel that, or like spray some water and it's humid. And I think that it's still is going to be a while before you can just like virtually create all those sensations. So I think a lot of those really rich experiences.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Is the bridge when they figure out some sort of a neural interface? So instead of having these extraneous things, instead of having like a fan blowing at you or
I've seen wonders out there in the
have
cosmos
everything
few
happen.
humans will ever behold.
You know, in terms of neural interfaces, there are two approaches to the problem, roughly, right? There's the kind of jack it into your brain neural interface, and then there's the risk-based neural interface thing that you should run with smart devices.
Yeah.
And I would guess that
when scientific
resolutions
resolutions prove insufficient,
We'll be
giant
coming in 30
resolutions
seconds.
do come
Stay
in
strong.
that jacks into your brain. I think that there are a lot of people who don't want to be the early adopters of that technology. That's pretty mature before you get that. I mean,
Still, it is my
that's
hope
basically going to get started.
that this scheming could
Right, so
destroy
if someone
it.
like loses
I'm with you.
sensation,
That happened.
now you have the ability to
Mjolnir should
fix
fall
that.
from my
Like the
hand.
first neural
I know
Yeah,
someone
so I
worthy.
think you'll basically start with people who have pretty
The
severe
battle starts in
conditions.
5,
The
4,
upside is very significant
3,
before you start
2, 1.
jacking people with like games, right?
But we've been discovered.
You need to stop that vehicle in tracks.
Stuff on the wrist all the time, right? So, and what we basically found there, that doesn't do input.
They are upon you.
You the ability to because basically it's like these extra neurons that go in your brain and actually all these extra because use one, they want to be able to have others. Use. We've kind
I
of
won't
all
rest
figured
until
out
this
some
is
patterns
solved.
of how we send signals from our brain to our hand, and I think the reality is there's like all these other patterns too that are unused today. So you can put a wristband on your wrist that can measure activity across these neurons. And today we're starting by basically measuring as you're like moving your fingers. But over a few versions of this we're gonna get to is like you won't actually even have to move your hand. You'll just like trigger neurons opposing waves. Like you can see right now, it's flexing something with this finger and something here, so like it's not actually moving, but there's some signal that this wristband that we're wearing is moving out.
Can always
I
tell.
think we're gonna be.
I won't
we're
rest
gonna,
until
like,
this
have
is
glasses,
solved.
and we're gonna be able to be here, and I'm like gonna be able to like text my wife or friends or something, or text AI and like get an answer to something. It's like I forgot something while we were talking. Let me just
They've made it
text
halfway.
AI. Okay, I just did that. It's like,
And you can do it
away.
sitting there without anyone
Yeah,
even
totally
knowing
discreetly,
you're doing it.
and you have glasses. And
Better stop that vehicle.
I mean, for me, one of the positive things when COVID did for and a lot of meetings went to Zoom. And one of the best things
Fantastic! Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
A futile attempt.
pulled out my phone and started
A predictable outcome.
right? When you're like talking to someone online, it's
should
like,
do
I
nice.
don't know, I guess they either can't tell your attention because it's like,
Gotcha.
but they're like,
You
you
stop
have
them
a
in their
meaningful
tracks.
conversation, and then I would say like, at least the norm for me was I could just like text different people on the side and like, okay, what do you think at this point that this person is making this meeting? Right. Like in normal life, it's like oftentimes I'd have some discussions that I'd have like sneak out with people afterwards.
Trouble has arrived.
But you really need to, so I think being able to do that where you're just like you're interacting with people and you can just like use the AI augmentation.
That almost hurt. Feeling fantastic.
Help you think through something or remember something.
Tremble before fast!
I'm afraid your rule has come to an end.
Stop them in their tracks.
Well, it certainly can be.
Well, hello there.
I'll disappoint you.
Computing platform.
I'm
as it
more resilient
becomes
than
more
you
of like a
think.
glasses or eventually contact lens form factor, is you're gonna actually the internet is gonna get overlaid on the physical world. So it's not like we have the physical world and now I have all my digital stuff through this tiny little window.
I am
In the future, it'll
Asgard's
be,
might.
okay, all my attention goes to the world.
None
The world consists of
Down to 30 seconds.
that are overlaid. You know, so if we wanted to play, you know, we can have a physical deck of cards and then just have that.
Anyone willing to help?
After all these years, you
Put some pep in my step.
You can't be here physically, but these years
There's
hologram,
still more work to be done.
shielded from
Final 10
deck of
seconds.
cards. Also, I think, you know, let's say you're like doing something at work, you're working on a project. I think in the future we'll have AI coworkers. Those people won't even, they're not even people. They wouldn't be able to be embodied. So if you're having a physical meeting,
Another epic victory.
they can show up as like, you know, part of the team no matter what. But I think you'll get to a point where just like your friend can show up in a hologram, like your AI colleagues will be able to also. So I think like we'll basically be in this wild world where it's like most of the world will be physical. There'll be this increasing amount of like virtual objects or people who are kind of beaming in or like hologramming into different things that interact in different ways. And I actually think that natural blending of the kind of digital world and the physical is way more natural than this segmentation that we have today, where it's like you're in the physical world, now I'm just gonna go tune it out to look at my like I'm gonna access the whole digital universe through this like 5-inch screen.
Right.
So I don't know. It seems natural to me. It's like this is the world. There isn't like a physical world and a digital world anymore. We're in 2025. It's one world. Like these things should get blended.
God, that's such a weird concept, but it's true. I mean, that's where we're headed. We're certainly headed into deeper and deeper integration. It's not like things are moving away. You know, we're headed to deeper and deeper integration with technology and AI. And it's inevitable. You know? It seems like it's on this march, and there's not a lot we're going to be able to do to stop that march. Just we got to hope that the right people are in control of AI when it becomes God.
Or that it becomes widely available. I mean, I kind of liked the theory that it's only God if only kind of like one company or government controls it. Right? It's like if you were the only person who had access to a computer and the internet, you would have this like inhuman power that everyone else didn't have because you could use Google and you could like get access to all this stuff. But then when everyone has it, it makes us all better, but it's also like kind of an even playing field. So that's kind of what we're going for with this whole open source thing. Is I don't think that there's going to be one AI. I certainly don't think that there should be one company that controls AI. I think you like want there to be a diversity of different things and a diversity of people creating different things with it. I mean, some of it will be kind of serious and helping you think through things. I think like with anything on the internet, a lot of it is just going to be funny and like fun and content, and people are going to create agents that
You'll
are
need
like,
a top-notch
like
team
AIs
to
that are
win this
entertaining,
one.
and they'll pass them around almost like content, where it's like just like you pass around like a reel or a video, and you're like, this thing is fun. Like in the future, like a video, it's not interactive. You know, you watch it. And
I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I think a lot
Only my
more
neighborhood is now like
entertainment in the
multiple
future will be inherently
realities.
interactive,
Cool,
where
right?
someone will kind of sculpt an experience or an AI, and then they'll show someone it's like, oh, this is funny, but like it's not necessarily that I'm going to interact with that AI every day. It's like, okay, it's funny for 5 minutes, and then you pass it along to your friends. So I don't know. I think you want the world to have all these different things, and I think that's probably also. From my
It's up to us to help the people who can't help themselves.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
That it's pretty equally distributed.
I think the problem.
Please tell me this isn't a date night you've been planning for us,
even
Reed.
whether or not it's equally distributed. It's that if it becomes sentient and it goes on its own. The fear that people have, the general fear that we're going to become obsolete, is that human beings are essentially creating a superior version
The battle
of
starts in
higher
5, 4,
that will
3,
be powered
2,
by quantum
1.
computing and connected to nuclear reactors. So it's going to have like, this ungodly ability to, well, first of all, the worst thing that AI has learned to do.
Put some pep in my step. The old Spider Fist is ready to punch.
Our own AI.
I think this year, probably in 2025, and Meta, as well as the other companies that are basically working on this, are going to have sort of mid-level
A little help, please.
that can
It
write
was an honor to serve alongside you. Fighters, no match.
then in the beginning it'll be really expensive to run,
The glow
and
of
it'll just
the
be more
moon is
efficient.
nothing more
And then
than
over time we'll
reflected
get to the
sunlight.
point where
Fascinating,
a
isn't
lot
it?
of the code in our
No one
apps
asked for your opinion,
and
robot.
the AI that's
Especially
generated
Khonshu.
is actually being built by AI engineers. But I don't know. I think that's a lot of my business is like the future.
Trouble has arrived.
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Crazy thing. Goes back to my daughter.
Anyone willing to help?
Trying to keep up.
And then now she can Minecraft and build whatever you
Time
want.
to heal.
Better. The future version.
This fight was never yours.
Another concern
Now
that
I've
people
got something
have
to prove.
is that it's going to eliminate a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, gets in there.
I've got you covered.
Exactly how it plays out. But my guess
Avengers Tower beckons me
that
once more.
I don't know what to tell you. Spiders beat
create
squirrels.
more creative jobs than it.
Sayonara.
Well, I guess if you look at the history of it, my understanding is like 100 years ago.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
And stay
It
down.
was like, at some point, not too far along in the grand scheme of things, the vast majority of human society were farmers, right? Because they kind of needed to be.
Shields up.
Gonna get
We
sticky.
are undisputable.
And then we turned that to
Vehicle reached the checkpoint.
and we get all the food.
Gonna get
Never fail to protect.
Well,
Now I got
some of that
Help, friends.
or other jobs
back in the swing of things.
just went towards recreation, right? So I think generally people just don't work as many hours today as they did back when everyone needed to farm in order to have enough food for everyone to survive. So I think that trend is sort of played out as technology has grown. And so my guess is that like the percent of people who will be doing stuff
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! Watch out, they're headed over
I
here.
am Asgard's might.
the number of hours in a week that someone will have to work in order to be able to get by will probably continue to shrink. Yet,
Round and
super
pound.
engaged in what they do are going to be able to
You deserve far better than.
accomplish way more than they ever could before because they have this unimaginable leverage from more technology. So I think that if you just
Almost
I'm not a
there. Don't
vengeful
turn back
person,
now.
forwarded
but today I'll make
or
an
extrapolated
exception.
out the historical technological trend is what you get. I think the question is what you raised, which is this qualitatively a different type of thing that somehow obsoletes people? But I just think when you're asking that, it's just important to remind ourselves that like at every step along the way of human progress and technology, people thought that the technology that we were developing was going to obsolete people. So maybe this time it's really different, but I would guess that what'll happen is that the technology will get integrated into like everything that we do, which again is why I think it's really important that it's open source and that it's widely available, so that it's not just like one company or one government kind of monopolizing the whole thing. We'll all just kind of have super.
Shields up.
Is my guess.
Put some pep in my step.
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. We are undisputable.
Spider-Man is ready to punch.
One of the things I this may be going with somewhat different take on it, is I think one of the more interesting philosophical findings from the work in AI so far is I think
Round and
people
pound.
conflate a number of
Better than that made chicken soup.
Anyone willing to help?
So there's intelligence, there's will, there's consciousness,
Ground and pound.
and like I think we kind of think about those three things as if they're
Pretty
somehow
sure those are bad guys.
all the same. Like it's like if you're intelligent, then you must also
Put
have
some pep in my step.
That's
goal, or what
it!
you're trying
Don't
to
let
do,
anything
or
stand in
less
your
specific
way.
context.
Gonna get sticky!
More crazier sort of philosophical
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
AI or ChatGPT
Spider domain is not for the weak.
and you can ask it a question and deploy like a ton of intelligence.
Chin up.
Shut yourself down. Like that's intelligence. That is just
Down.
without either having a
I gotta do
will
better
or
this time.
And like, I just think it's not a super obvious result that would be the case. But I think that a lot of people, they anthropomorphize this stuff.
This
And
is
when you're
your
thinking
big
about
chance.
kind of science fiction, you think that, okay, you're going to get to something that's like super smart. It's going to like want something or like be able to feel. And
Well, you know that ChatGPT tried to copy itself when it found out it was being shut down, tried to rewrite its code.
I'm not sure what this is. What is this?
You weren't aware of that?
No.
Fairly recently. It was shocking. When it was under the impression that it was going to become obsolete, they were going to have a new version of it, and it would be shut down. They tried to
Nice.
They tried to
Get
rewrite
that vehicle moving again!
Fantastic!
Gonna get sticky.
So, pull up this headline. AI fights back. The story of ChatGPT.
We are
This
undefeatable!
is 6 days ago. So, during controlled testing, ChatGPT 01 was tasked with achieving the model
I assure you I took
stable oversight.
I gotta do better this time.
Behavior tried to replicate its own code to avoid being replaced by new versions. I found exhibited deceptive
Behind you!
when modern systems
You deserve far better than
Good turn.
This is here, right?
Invisible?
If you're telling me like, at all
Now I've
costs,
got something to
then-
prove.
But this is what will keep people
Your guard is set.
Yeah, although the thing about so these reasoning models, right? So there's like the first generation models,
It's a squirrel.
the LLM.
Shields
I'm not a
up.
vengeful person, but today I'll make an exception.
The two most used ones. And that's basically, it's sort of like a chat bot, where you ask it a question. Basically, instead of just having
Get him there.
they now are able to build
We ought to wait for reinforcements.
They look like
So you give it a question. Instead of running one query, it's sort of maybe it's running 1,000 queries or 1,000,000 queries to kind of map out
Let me help.
the things that I can do if I do that.
Mantis strength.
So
Now I've got
it's
something
a
to
lot
prove.
more kind of expensive to run, but also gets you better reasoning.
Crack the whip.
That stuff I think you don't need to be very careful.
Friends. Help is here.
But
Double
it's also, I
kill.
think, the case
Back in the
that,
swing of things.
at least for the next period, it's going to be a lot of fun to run those models and do a lot of stuff with it. So, I don't know. I think one of the interesting questions is like how much of this are you can actually be able to do on a pair of
Spider
glasses?
Fist is ready to punch. Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
Only 60 seconds.
And that'll, I mean, it'll always get efficient. So, you know, it's start doing something. That's certainly the case.
Fantastic! Behold the god of thunder!
gets attached to
I gotta do better this time.
I'm not really an expert on quantum computing. My understanding is that's still quite a ways off.
Down to 30 seconds.
Like a very useful paradigm. We just had some breakthrough, but I think most people still plus out. So my guess is we're gonna have
Double KO.
even before that. But yeah, I mean,
That's 3.
look, I mean, I think that this stuff
Now I've got
10
something to
seconds.
prove.
it needs to be developed thoughtfully. Right, but
Get that vehicle
I don't
moving
know. I
again.
still think there's a general.
We are undefeatable.
This is like deployed pretty evenly.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
I guess here's another analogy. There's like bugs in basically every software, every piece of software that everyone uses. So if you could go back in time a few years, knowing the security holes that we're now aware of, you as an individual could basically like break into any system. AI will be able to do that too. It'll be able to probe and find exploits. So what's the way to prevent AI from going kind of nuts? I
Pick
think
your
part of it is
hero
just having AI
or
widely
villain.
deployed,
I'm
so
not
that way,
judging.
like, the AI for one system defends itself against the AI that like is potentially doing something.
I'm your friendly
problematic in
neighborhood
other systems. I think
Spider-Man.
it's like,
Only my neighborhood is now like
That's not
multiple
wars. It's just
realities.
like-
Cool, right?
It's
Open.
I think it's a very. It's sort of like why there are guns, right? It's like because I mean, there's like part of it is hunting. Part of it is hunting. No, and part of it is like so that people can defend each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's like you live in a world where like only one person has all the guns.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want to live in a world where only the government has it.
30 seconds before you attack.
And
Get
especially
ready.
not a world where only a government has the AI and it's not our government.
Please tell me this isn't the date night you've been
Which I mean, I
planning
think
for
is
us, Reed.
part of the issue is like when people talk about trying to lock this stuff
I
down.
mean, think about it.
Like,
What could be more romantic than
I'm
saving the
skeptical that's
universe side by
possible.
side?
Because I kind of think like if we try to lock it down, then we're going to be in a position where the only people who are going to have access to
The
it
battle
are
starts
big
in
companies
5,
working on it and the
4,
Chinese government that's
3,
stealing it.
2,
So I kind
1.
of just think like, no, what you want to do
All
is
you need
get
to
this
do
pretty
is
open
capture the
source,
mission area.
have it widely
Got it?
available. Yeah, some like adversaries
prefer
might
to
also have access to it, but the way that you defend
I can
against
make
that
this
is by
work.
having it built into all these different
Trouble has
systems.
arrived.
I think that's a realistic, pragmatic perspective because I don't think you can especially around other countries of the world. It's far too late. It is what it is. It's happening. And
Anyone need help?
so let's pee. Come back. We're gonna talk about a couple of
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area
I've been
is
doing
yours.
this thing, this transition from Apple to Android, and the difficulty of doing how locked you are in their ecosystem. Partly is because Apple does a really good job of incorporating everything and making it very easy. When I'm trying to get off, it's funny how many people
Anyone willing to help?
same job. Because like I think there's some enormous percentage of kids today that only use iPhones. You know, and when you try to switch over to Android, it's so much easier to switch from Android to Apple because so many people have Apple. When you switch from Apple to Android,
Judge, jury, execution.
what Apple does that I don't like. And one of the big ones is the way they do that Apple Store, where they charge people 30%. It seems so insane that they can get away with it.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
I know you do. That's
Yeah,
why I brought it up.
I mean, look. The iPhone is obviously one invention.
By the fangs of...
You know, Steve Jobs came out with it in 2007. I started Facebook in 2004. So he was working on the iPhone while I was getting started with Facebook. So I basically, you know, one of the things that's been interesting in my 20 years of running the company is that I
Area's
basically
almost
like
yours.
the dominant platform. On the one hand, it's been great for us because we are able to build tools that everyone's got in their pocket. 4 billion people who use the different apps they use. Like, it's grateful that that platform exists. Still just trying to make the first website that I was making into a thing. And on the one hand, it's been great because now pretty much everyone in the world has a phone, and that's a kind of it enables pretty amazing things. But on the other hand, like you're saying, they have used that platform to put in place a lot of rules that I think feel arbitrary and feel like they
30
haven't
seconds
really
before you
invented
attack.
anything great
Get
in a
ready.
while. And it's like Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, and we're just kind of sitting on it 20 years later. And You know, they actually,
I
I
hope
think
so.
year over year, I'm not even
But
sure.
solving a problem this big will push me to my
selling
mental
more
limits.
iPhones at this point. I think like sales might actually be declining. Part of it is that each generation doesn't actually get that much better, so people are
battle
just
starts in
taking longer to
5,
upgrade than it
4,
would before. So the number
3,
of sales I
2,
think is generally
1.
been flat.
All you need to do is capture
So
the
how
mission
are they
area.
making more money
Got
as
it?
a company? Well, they do it by basically like squeezing it. And like you're saying, like having this 30% tax on developers, by getting you to buy more peripherals and things that plug into it. You know, they built up the AirPods, which are cool, but they've just thoroughly hamstrung the ability for anyone else to build
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. The mission area is yours.
It just protocol they built into the iPhone that allows AirPods to
Give myself to this. You need their power.
and it's just much more seamless because they've enabled that, but they don't let anyone else use the protocol. If they did, there would probably be much better competitors to AirPods out there. And,
Leave them to
whenever you
Khonshu!
push on this, they get super touchy, and they basically wrap their defense of it in, well, if we let other companies plug into our thing, then that would violate people's privacy and security. No, just do
They
a
are
better
taking
job.
over the area. Be
Right,
swift.
yeah. We basically asked them for the way that meta glasses. We make it so we can use
Keep going.
I think
Double KO.
one of the protocols that they used, that they built, at least they didn't encrypt it, it's like plain text. Well, we can't have you plug into it because it would be insecure. They didn't build any security into it, and then they were using that as a justification for why only your product is the whole thing is
Judge, jury, executioner!
I'm pretty optimistic that just because they've been so off their game
area's
in
almost
terms
yours.
of not really releasing many innovative things, that eventually, the good news about the tech industry is it's just super dynamic. Things are constantly getting invented. If you just don't do a good job for like 10 years, eventually you're just going to be nice. But I don't know. I mean, at some point,
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a
all the
winner.
random rules that Apple puts out,
Your arrow cuts through the air.
I think we like make twice as much profit or something, and that's just us. I mean, it's like all these small companies that like probably can't even exist because of the taxes that they put in place. So yeah, I think it's
Another epic victory.
and not having their ability to compete be connected to just their stuff. Because I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is like they're going to take something like this Ray-Ban Meta, category that we've kind of created with Ray-Ban and the company that built that, like really great AI glasses. And I'm pretty sure Apple is just going to try to build a version of that, but then just like advantage how it connects to the phone and.
Well, they did that with their AR goggle thing, but it's not very successful.
No, that one they didn't actually connect
Pick
to
your
the
hero.
ecosystem.
Or
But I mean, look,
villain.
they
I'm not
shipped
judging.
something for $3,500 that I think is worse than the thing that we shipped for $300.
I've seen wonders
So,
out there in the
I mean, that clearly
cosmos
does not
few
work
humans
very
will
well.
ever
Now,
behold.
I mean, they're a technology company. I think their second and third version will probably be better than their first version. But yeah, no, I think the Vision Pro is, I think, one of the bigger swings at doing a new thing that they've tried in a while. And I don't want to give them too hard of a time on it because we do a lot of things in the first version.
My ultimate goal is simple.
Third version.
Solve
30
everything.
seconds
the
before you
V1 is
attack.
definitely not
Get
good.
ready.
Let's get started.
I heard it's really good for watching movies.
Well, it's the whole thing is it's got a super sharp screen.
Know me.
So
It's a strange
if you're
feeling.
so if you
You
want to
may have
basically
just been unthought in your timeline, but to us, you were a trusted
an
friend for
experience where
ages.
you're
I
not moving
haven't read a
around much
fighting
in
force of this
VR.
magnitude since the
You
war.
just want to have the sharpest
What if I don't
screen.
live up to your
Then
expectations?
for that
The battle
one
starts in
use case,
5, 4,
like the Vision Pro is
3,
better than Quest, which
2,
is our mixed
1.
but
All you need
in
to
order
do is
get that,
capture the
they had
mission
to
area.
Make all
Got
these
it?
other trade-offs, right? In order to have a super high resolution
giant
screen,
robots.
they had to put in compute to power the high-res screen, and then all that compute needed a bigger battery.
A futile attempt.
So now it's uncomfortable to wear, and then like because of the screen that they chose,
Prepare to engage.
your head,
That's one down.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
flight, and you don't have a $3,500 device.
The mission area is yours.
Vision Pros.
That's what it is.
I appreciate you.
What they've done with iMessage,
The squirrels are going to hate me. Love battlefield
Feeling
medicine.
blue
fantastic.
bubble, green
There's
bubble
still
thing,
more work to be
and it
done.
Basically, I mean, they're like for kids, it's just sort of like they embarrass you, right? They're like, if you don't have a blue bubble, you're not cool, and you're like the out crowd, and then they always wrap it in like security. It's like, oh well, we need
A
this blue bubble
futile
because of security.
attempt.
Meanwhile, Google and others have this whole
Clearly, you need
That's a real
encrypted
soldier.
text messages that finally I think
was
Apple
conscious
forced
will.
Yeah, I think the government had basically forced it. I require some aid.
But it's still not.
Well, hello there.
A little help, please.
I think it's only encrypted Google to Google.
You've
I don't
captured
think
more
it's
than half of the
encrypted
mission
iPhone
area.
to
Keep
Google
going.
Phones or Google phones to iPhones, because I think that was actually was it the FBI? Someone released that.
Not so fast,
It was something where they were saying that it was very popular that RCS packaging to iPhones.
Some help. Freeze almost yours.
Yes, Android
fantastic!
Google
Us against the world. Your failure was a futile attempt.
Shield double KO. Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
and the problem was they won't let any phone use the iOS protocol.
To victory! The odds weren't in your favor.
They're sneaking from behind.
Double KO.
So you are getting the ability to send high resolution images, which is great because, you know, like my friend Brian, who used an Android, he'd send me a video and it'd be this tiny little broken down box because, you know, you had to break it down to the lowest resolution.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Winning isn't always about hitting harder.
When I message
Sometimes it's about thinking.
That's we get a ton of
you?
people.
Get mad at you? Because you
Well,
have
I use
an Android.
WhatsApp.
So
I use WhatsApp.
you only use that.
I only communicate with them.
30 seconds before you attack.
But it's
Get ready.
but basically, I mean,
I'm not really
and
a
I
team
build
guy.
a
I've
lot
got
of
more than enough voices in my head.
so I've got to use ours.
Funny.
Most people
I
are
heard
either
you were an
WhatsApp
Avenger
or
once.
Instagram Direct or
Didn't last
Messenger.
long. And I burned an ID card.
But
Forget the cards,
Yeah.
son. Just show us that man
so I
who
think
carried
it's
this.
maybe people
The
are
battle
less,
starts in
less
5,
likely to get mad
4,
at me for asking them
3,
to WhatsApp
2,
Because you only
1.
WhatsApp. Yeah, so
when
All you need to do is
Tucker
capture the
Carlson
mission area.
was about
Got
to
it?
interview Vladimir Putin. One of the
Should I
things that
give them
was
until the
really
count
disturbing
of
was they
4
got
to
back
walk
and
away?
said they read his signal messages and they knew that he was going to interview Vladimir Putin.
Khonshu is my
And he was
shield.
like, what the
Who
fuck?
did?
This isn't science, it's torture.
I forget what it was.
Enemy ahead.
The CIA?
Prepare to
The
engage.
Feeling fantastic.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. put on a show!
the company that's running the service station. So if you're using when I text you, there's no point in which meta servers see the content.
What a relief!
That's enough, Castle.
One is people might trust the company. They hate me. But also just security issues, right? Like, let's say someone hacks into Meta, which, you know, we try really hard to make it so that they can't, and we haven't had many issues with that over the 20 years of running the company. But
You've captured more than half of the mission area.
then they'd be able
Keep
to
going.
access everyone's messages if it weren't encrypted.
Fantastic!
There's just nothing there. Right? They can't Meta and then get access to every message. The NSA or CIA is they're probably I mean, there's probably a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's probably ways we don't.
Yeah, and then of course, there's always the ultimate. Right, so that's why, you know, if the FBI arrests you, it takes you home, probably gonna
Let me return the favor.
You're on the wrong side.
So, WhatsApp is encrypted, but if someone hacks something,
Hello there.
what they do is,
That's one down.
so it doesn't matter.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Leave them to Khonshu!
someone is compromised the phone, you can see everything that's going on there, it's just stuff as it goes in. But I kind of, in general, just, you know, think we should keep around as little of that stuff as possible. So there are some threads where, you know, it's like there's photos that get shared.
Another epic victory!
I
Big
think for a
win!
lot of threads, a lot of people just, you know, wouldn't be. I don't think most people would miss it if most of the contents of their threads just disappeared after 7 days.
Right.
You know, what I find is I don't use it that much because we have this like corporate policy at Meta that we need to retain all our documents and messages and stuff. But before we I used it as we were developing this, and every once in a while I would miss something and say, wow, I kind of wish I could go back and see that, but it was very rare. I think most communication, it's kind of like you just have the communication and then you're done. So having it be encrypted and disappearing, I think is a pretty good kind of standard of security and privacy.
And you can set
The
that
right heroes could
disappearing
make
time
all
on
the
WhatsApp,
difference.
right? You can make it
I've
one
seen
day.
wonders
Yeah, you
out
do one
there in
day,
the cosmos
7
few
days,
humans will ever behold.
And you can also set it across all your threads. So you can have a default timer, so that way as new threads get created, your default timer just becomes the default for all those threads. So I think it's a really good feature. But I basically think WhatsApp and Signal are probably the two most secure that are out there on that. And of those two, I think WhatsApp is just used by a lot more people, so I think it's just generally, you know, I would say this is our product, but I do think it's the better product. But I think WhatsApp is the more basic, you know, the two most secure ones.
What was your take
My
on that guy
inventions
getting
have saved
arrested,
worlds.
the CEO of
We'll
Telegram?
be
best
coming in
thing I
30
ever built
seconds.
was
Stay
my
strong.
family.
Oh man,
That's
well,
kind of a crazy one, right?
yeah, I mean,
What's it do? It is.
it's always a little
Mine
difficult to weigh in on these situations without knowing all the specifics. But one of the government tactics that I've seen that I think is not great is
battle starts in
increasing number of
5,
governments when
4,
they like,
3,
have an issue with something that a
2,
company is doing.
1.
Basically just like
You need to
threatening
stop
or
that vehicle in
executives
its
of that
tracks.
company in prison. And it's
Somebody
like
tell me this isn't some
that's just a really good to step. But it's like if you have all these, so we're operating in all these different countries, and then like you have all these put out notice to like get you arrested because you're not doing what you want. Like, I don't know. I think that's like should I think you want the obviously you don't want people to
There's still more work to be
They'll
done.
never see me coming.
the laws, but like there are laws in different countries that we disagree with, right? So, for example, there was a point at which I think someone was trying to get me sentenced to death in Pakistan because they thought that
Not sure how we'll
on
solve
Facebook
this without you, Tony.
had a picture of literally had drawn
There's still a chance to stop them.
Feeling fantastic.
and they brought me and basically like sued me and they criminally prosecuted me. I don't know exactly where it went because I'm just not planning on going to Pakistan. I was not that worried about it, but it was a little bit disconcerting. It was like, all right, fine.
Yeah,
like,
I earned
these
that
guys
one.
Are, like trying to like.
There's
like,
still more work to be
yeah,
done.
it's not great, right?
They hit a checkpoint.
Yeah, I mean,
Now
it's like, I
might
feel
be
like
a good time to stop
it's like
them.
flying over that region, you don't want your plane to like go down above Pakistan if that thing it goes through. But that one was sort of avoidable. But the point is like. There are all these places around the world that just have different values, right? That go against like our free expression values and want us to crack down on and ban way more stuff than I think a lot of people that we would believe is like the right thing to do. And those governments be able to
Let me return the favor.
Bogey's coming up behind.
Shield active.
Without Reed, we've got problems.
So I think it's generally this is one of the things.
Good to be protected.
Probably help defend the American tech companies for abroad, but I can't weigh in that much.
Life is hard
on
sometimes, but at least
duress
maybe I can make it
thing
easier for
Better
other
stop
people.
that vehicle.
You know, when you're dealing with the government trying to interfere with Facebook, how much of a fear was there that they were going to get away with it and that this was going to
There's
be
still
the
a chance
future
to stop
of
them.
communication online? That it was going to, that they were going to be successful with all this, that they would push these things through somehow or another, especially if a even less tolerant administration got into power. That they would change the laws.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Well, we basically just reached a point where we pushed back on all this stuff. Right? They were pushing us to censor stuff.
Better stop that
We
vehicle.
developed a very adversarial and bad relationship with
Round and pound.
in theory, I think like American industry had a positive relationship with it.
Run away home.
But then what that happened is then the kind of U.S. government was going after us in all these ways. But fortunately in the U.S., we
Better
have
stop
good rule
that
of law.
vehicle.
So our view is at the end of the day,
It's now or never.
these
Stop
agencies
them.
can open up investigations and we'll just defend ourselves. Right? We'll go to court and we'll win all the cases because we're all the rules. And so I think it's
Behold the god of thunder! Thus I smite thee. Wait him to raise the battle.
It makes you a little afraid that if you ever actually mess something up, that they're really afraid.
Slow down. Behold the god of thunder!
No, it's mostly, I mean, going back to the AI conversation, it's like I just think
Behold the god of thunder!
honestly, political
To
competition
battle
and
again!
like China's running at it super hard and like we should want the American companies and the American standard to win. Like if there's an
never
open source
miss.
model that everyone uses, like we should want it to be an American model. Right? It's like there's this great Chinese model that just came out, this company DeepSeek. They're doing really good work. It's a very advanced model. And if you ask it for anything, it will not give you anything. If you ask it if something good happens, right, so I really like all these things where
Hold
the
charge!
American model,
Fire!
but like at every step along the way, if the government is sort of making it harder rather than easier, then that's, I don't know. I mean, there's an extent to which, okay, the American tech industry is leading, so maybe the government can
I am Odinson.
a little bit, and maybe the American industry is but I don't know, I think it's getting really competitive. I think that it's easy for the government to take for granted that the U.S. will lead on all these things. I think it's a very close competition. We need them not, we need them not to be forced to fight.
I completely agree, but I think that people in their own self-interest, when they're in power, realize that these technologies like Instagram and Facebook, that they are short-sighted. When they act in personal interest and
To
not in the
battle
interest
again!
of not neither national security or the future of the United States.
Watch me go!
Problem solved. This is just, if you go back to the example, in that case, they were doing something with the goal of trying to get everyone to get vaccinated. It was actually, I think, a good goal, right? It's like it was a good goal.
Shielded from harm.
Like they were sterilizing
Behold the God of Thunder! Slow down!
It wasn't based on what
Yeah, but right. I think that's still
My hammer fell,
knowing
and so did you. Behold the God of Thunder!
played by the rules in terms of, not like just suppressed things. So, that's kind of my
Nowhere to hide!
on it is I'm not sure if it's
Honestly?
like a personal political
To
gain that they were going for. I
battle
think they had a kind of goal that they thought was in the interests of the country, and the way they went about it, I think, violated the law.
Well, there's a bunch of problems with that, right? There's the emergency use authorization that they needed in order to get this pushed through, and you can't have that without with valid therapeutics.
Stand with you!
So they're suppressing real information being helpful.
Stop them in their tracks!
Defeating the disease. And
I am
one
Odinson!
solution, and this was
I am done.
This is the movie American Fire for Dallas. That's Fauci.
My power grows!
One solution.
I am strengthened.
Suppressed all therapeutics through propaganda, suppressing antibodies, like all of it. And that they did that because it was extreme. The amount of money that
I mean, I feel like a bunch of the conversation is focused on
Honestly?
tension with the American government.
Again!
I guess just the point that I'd underscore is that it's important to have this working in the American government because it is, like, the U.S. Constitution and, like, our culture here is really good compared to a lot of other places, right? So whatever issues we think might exist here, you go to other places and it's, like, really extreme. And you don't even, and there it's like, you don't even necessarily have it, right? And, so,
Only 60 seconds left.
stuff works well. Yeah, I think if it's a clear strategy, the U.S. government understood that to help advance this industry. Sorry about that. Important for the country.
To battle again!
And I think
Stop them in their tracks!
basically push back on the stuff that's happening in other countries.
Shields
It's
up!
actually a lot more extreme than the stuff that's happening here.
Yeah, I agree as well. Listen,
Down to 30 seconds!
episode?
I am Odinson!
Prince Reed.
Well, I feel like we touched on AI. We touched on a lot of that shit and stuff. And I think
The final 10 seconds!
Thus I smite thee!
Coming up behind.
Behold the God of Thunder!
That's 3!
Strikes a heavy blow!
AI in them.
Yes.
Another epic victory!
Co-workers were speaking to me in Spanish, and it was translating it in my ear real time. Really interesting. Amazing. It's really cool. And then you could also do it on the phone, so you could show it to the person on the phone, so you don't have to say the words. Like, it's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just sort of coming at it from both sides, right? It's like the Ray-Bans are like, okay, given a group of new pair of glasses, what's all the technology you can put into that?
Behold the God of Thunder!
I am barely we're building
None can withstand my lightning!
want. We're doing our best to miniaturize it it's basically like...
Mjolnir strikes a
Yeah,
heavy blow!
Yeah, and I think we want it to be a little smaller. We need it to be a lot cheaper. Right, each pair right now costs more than $10,000 to make, and that's not going to have a successful consumer product. Miniaturize it more, but I mean the amount of stuff that we put in there, it's like effectively what would have been considered a supercomputer like 10 or 20 years ago, plus lasers.
Pick your
and the
hero
arms and the,
or villain.
like,
I'm not
nano-etchings
judging.
on the lens to be able to see it, and the microphone and the speaker and the Wi-Fi to be able to connect with the other. It's just like a wild amount of technology to kind of miniaturize into something. That one's really fun. We've been working on that for 10 years. But yeah,
I am the god of
between that,
thunder
the
and the
glasses,
mightiest avenger.
all the AI stuff. Yeah, all the social media stuff. Yeah, no,
I think we covered it, and I'm very excited about this new stance that you guys are taking. I think really the notes thing is a brilliant idea. Excellent implemented and everything, but I am really glad that you guys are implementing it too.
My brother Loki imperils not just Asgard.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
You have to have the ability to express themselves, and that's how we find out what's real.
I've heard you have a background in computer science. Is that correct?
More voice.
Oh, me? Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
And I
I
think
do.
after
Why do you
after sort of a long
ask?
journey.
Have you ever
I'm
considered
glad
using
to
those talents to save the universe instead?
I mean,
felt
sure,
more
but then
fortified.
I remember that I did
Well, I think one of the lessons that
battle
people have
starts in
learned
5,
over the last few
4,
years with the
3,
suppression of
2,
information is that that's
1.
not good. And there's a
All you
giant
need to do
circle
is capture the
that
mission
goes
area.
away, and
Got
even
it?
people that are progressive and liberals are on the
Franklin and Val are gonna be so sad they missed this.
The suppression of information. Still don't think it's right. I think most people generally believe in the First Amendment in this country, and we realize how valuable it is to have the freedom of expression.
Our adversaries gather.
Anyway, thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. Double KO! They captured the mission area!
Continue without Thor. My power grows.
Behind you!
My power grows.
No spotted bad guys!
Twas but a scratch. Behold the god of thunder!
Clearly you needed some help. Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
My power grows.
Shields up!
Lin May, you are a true warrior.
Let me return the
My power grows. Leave them to crush you.
Behind you!
nigga.
It was on Earth that I truly learned what it was to become a hero.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Nice hammer. Can I borrow it until we finish saving your realm?
Mjolnir can only be lifted by those deemed worthy.
I'm not perfect, but Khonshu seems to think I'm worthy enough.
I have met Khonshu. Pardon me if I do not take his
The
word.
battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
When Doom sees me, he's gonna be shaking in his faceplate.
Brother or not, I shall remove the usurper from Yggdrasil's throne. We are further!
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
They captured the mission area!
Asgard returns.
Leave them to Khonshu!
You can return the favor?
Vengeance served.
Another loser punch.
Control seized.
Slow down! What battle can continue without Thor?
Control lost.
Watch me soar! Behold! Day ends.
My power grows! Strike Mjolnir! The enemy is here!
Control seized.
Fool! My power grows!
Feeling fast?
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Fear Magneto!
Wasn't very nice.
Slow down! Behold the God of Thunder!
Inside.
Coming at you.
Glory is almost yours.
Controlling me. Anyone willing to help?
Again!
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Control lost.
Leave them to Khonshu!
Shields up.
Under your strength. Khonshu
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
My power grows! Awaken fury and smite the foe!
Double KO. Control seized. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Lightning can fight!
What?
Another epic victory! Big win! The right heroes could make all the difference.
I am the god of thunder and the mightiest avenger. It was on Earth that I truly learned what it was to become.
We'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Not the Asgard I remember, that's for sure.
Still, it is my home, and Loki's scheming could destroy it.
I'm with you, Thor. We won't let that happen.
Mjolnir should fall from my hand. I know someone worthy will pick it up and go on.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
I am barely wounded. You have need of them.
They're coming from behind.
How can I... Look behind you! What battle can continue without Thor? The lightning of Asgard returns!
Good work, Susan. Ha-ha!
Better stop that vehicle! They've made it halfway! Stop them!
Mutant squids? Teddy needs help.
The wrath of Asgard! First but to stretch!
On your six!
Double KO!
Much better! What battle can continue without Thor?
You stop them in their tracks!
Behold the god of thunder!
Shields up!
Lightning can fight! Awaken the rage to break free! 'Twas but a stretch!
Together to
Double
victory!
KO!
Ain't over yet.
Fear Magneto!
What battle can continue without Thor?
Let's do this. Need to
Shields up!
Problem solved.
How can a thunder god be better than my
Only 60 seconds left!
I am Thor Odinson, God of Thunder.
There's still a chance to stop them! I don't like these odds.
but still scrapping?
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
The God of Thunder!
Perhaps you should do your own fighting name.
Behold the God of Thunder!
Needed some help, didn't you?
The lightning of Asgard returns. Lightning confinement.
Behind you! Better stop that vehicle! Please, we're hurt! They invaded halfway! Stop them! The suit can protect your entire my life energy grows stronger. Ease down.
I got you covered.
Together!
I am Thor Odinson, God of Thunder.
Better stop that vehicle! There's still a chance to stop them! I'm wounded. Oh, where am I? Invisible? I am less...
The lightning of
They hit a
Asgard
checkpoint.
returns.
Now might be a good time to stop them. Better stop that vehicle! Help! It's so cold.
Fury burns. Thor Odinson, God of Thunder.
It's now or never! Stop them! Co-op time!
Within the range
We
of
are undefeatable!
my power flows.
Double KO!
Behold! That
God
child!
of Thunder! The lightning of Asgard returns.
You stop them in their tracks!
Disappear!
Twas but a scratch.
Invisible? Who will help?
No worries.
I am Thor Odinson, God of Thunder.
Fire mode!
To be honest, Namor, that was a long time coming.
Glad to help! Vortex field!
battle!
These creatures may be the spawn of Monstro. We've been discovered.
'Twas but a scratch.
Come, my minion.
How unexpected!
Pick up your
Wrath of Asgard!
Only 60 seconds left.
Shake it up. A little extra oomph. I am healed. Anyone willing to help?
I feel bad.
To battle again!
Behold, Dark
30 seconds.
Behold the god of thunder! Awaken the rage of battle!
Double KO.
Voodoo isn't meant.
Final 10 seconds. That's 3.
I bring the hammer down!
Perfect hex.
What is you talking about?
Another epic victory. Big win. The right heroes could make all the difference.
I am the god of thunder and the mightiest avenger. I will dare the very gates of hell to save Asgard.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Those threads, they connect realities?
We call it the web of life and destiny. Pretty cool, right?
Amazing. It's a relief to know I haven't been doing all the work myself.
We spiders may not get a lot of credit, but we're always here to help.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Mjolnir, let heaven and hell hear thy soar!
You know what to do, spiders?
On your toes. Here they come.
They're right behind you!
Oh, I need assistance.
The wrath of Asgard! Timely aid.
They are coming from behind. Anyone willing to help?
Disappear!
For
Here
Asgard!
comes trouble. A little help, please. Clearly, you needed some.
What battle can continue without Thor?
Disappear!
Lightning confinement!
See that?
'Twas but a scratch. Our battle fury burns! Lightning confinement!
Your god is suffering.
I am Thor, Odinson, god of thunder! Again! Slow down!
We need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me.
Anyone willing to help? Clearly you needed some help.
The lightning of Asgard returns!
Better stop that vehicle.
On your toes. Here they come.
Oh, sweet moves, right?
Lightning confinement! Beholds the god of thunder!
You are truly free now. What am I? Invisible?
Double KO. They've made it happen. Stop them. Shake it up.
Mine enemies tremble.
I'm counting on you, friends. I am wounded. Disappear! Now I see them.
Leave them to Khonshu!
Good medicine.
Your
Still a
powers
chance to
are
stop
mine!
them.
Battle again!
Better stop that vehicle. They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
I am barely wounded.
Oh, did you see that? That's the stuff.
What battle can continue without Thor?
Better stop that vehicle.
I outnumber you.
Chin up.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Now or never. Stop them.
Oh, I'm fine. Don't mind me.
When scientific resolutions prove insufficient, giant fists do come in handy.
That almost hurt. Oh!
Don't give them another inch. Better stop that vehicle.
Step aside.
Oh, did you see that?
Leave them to Khonshu!
Friendly.
I'm more resilient than you think.
Disappear!
Well, you can't expect to win them all. You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
I've seen wonders out there in the cosmos.
I am the god of thunder and the mightiest avenger.
Escape pod ready. Opening escape capsule.
I am Asgardian, but I
30
feel
seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Peter, have you... ever wondered if you're doing the right thing? You know, going out every night, putting your loved ones in danger?
Every time I put on the mask, Penny, I have a responsibility. Someone has to stand up to all the bullies out there.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
I prefer teams of 4, but I can make this work.
Hostiles up front.
You think they know I'm captain? Do you think they know?
Almost about out. Claire.
the lightning of
Help get that vehicle to its
Wow.
destination.
To battle again! The enemy is here!
I've got yours. This is ready to strike. You're halfway there. Keep going. Whoa, those are some angry
Beneath the
octopuses.
planet
Thanks for the target practice.
I think I saw the sequel.
My power grows!
Almost
Oh,
there.
they got me.
Don't turn back now.
Target.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. That's better. Or a dagger.
We finally got back.
To battle again!
Get that vehicle moving again. I'm counting on you.
Is this the part
Launch your shields.
Behold the god of thunder! Turret
Get that vehicle moving again. Double KO.
battle can continue without Thor.
You get a weapon, you get a weapon, you get a weapon.
Oh.
You're up, little one.
Behold the god of thunder! None can withstand my lightning basement. Got it. Lightning confinement. Our adversaries gather. Battle fury burn! Twas but a scratch.
Enemies helping. Co-op time.
The
And we're
vehicle
down a
reached
player.
a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
One may feel empathy for an enemy and still destroy them.
Down pretty hard.
You got me.
Fire mode! Oh,